but I'm understanding there might be a number of you here that are going to speak at the public petition as it relates to the data center. So at this time, if there's anybody here that has not signed up, I'll give you an opportunity to come up to sign up to speak for public petition. Is there anybody here that would like to speak that has not signed up? Hearing none, I'd like to call this meeting to order. And Mr. Evans, would you, safety instructions, please?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to call for Ms. Natalie Best to give us our safety instructions for tonight.
Good evening. To provide for the safety of those attending this meeting, please listen to the following instructions in case of an emergency. First, please take a moment to note where your exits are. If an emergency arises that prompts us to evacuate, please exit this room in a quick and orderly manner through one of the 2 doors to your right, and then proceed to the nearest stairwell, directions to which are indicated by the exit signs. Once you exit the building, we ask that you safely cross Granville Street, which is the street that runs beside our building, to our parking lot to be safely away from the building. Our staff will provide additional direction and assistance as needed. In the case of a tornado warning, please exit this room into the hallway where we will remain until it is safe to exit. In any event of an active shooter in the building, if there is an accessible escape path, please run and try to evacuate the premises. If you can't evacuate, please find a place to hide where you are less likely to be found and lock any doors that you can. And as a last resort, and only if your life is in imminent danger, please fight. Our staff will provide additional assistance on what to do. Additionally, we'd like to add that as there's a crowd in the room this evening, if you stand to give someone your seat, please do not stand in front of the doors. Please do not stand in front of the doors. Thank you for your attention.
Is there an overflow crowd? Is there anybody? There's somebody there. I don't know if they could hear me in terms of the sign up. Do they know? They're just not watching. Also in your agenda package, we have the approval of the minutes. You have them in your agenda package.
Prayer, Mr. Chair.
Prayer, excuse me, please. Ms. Harris, please.
Those who will bow with me. Dear Heavenly Father, again, we thank you for a day of life, health, and strength, Lord. We thank you for those that are gathered here. We thank you for those who may be listening on YouTube. Lord, we just ask you to continue to keep us all on one accord, that we may do what is best for the citizens of Edgecombe County. This we ask in your Son's name. Amen.
Amen. Now for the minutes. The minutes on your agenda package, Chair will take a motion if there are no additional corrections. Is there a motion?
Second.
Questions? All in favor, let it be known by the voting sign aye. Aye. All opposed? Hearing none, the minutes are approved. Scheduled appointment, Mr. Evans?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. Tonight we have with us Mr. Dalton Barrett, who is our community paramedic in emergency services. He manages our opioid settlement program. Also with him is Mr. Antoine Brown, who is our emergency service director. Mr. Barrett is going to give you an update on our opioid settlement project, and we also have some action that we'll need for you to take tonight that we'll summarize in just a moment.
Cool. Thank y'all for having me up here. I hope everybody's Thanksgiving was good. To everybody in the room, the board, my coworkers, citizens, everybody online, so I appreciate that. I'll be as brief as I can, but wanted to give about a 12-month update as far as what we're doing with the opioid settlement funds. If y'all can remember back a couple of months ago, we were up here doing another addition to the MOA, and that's going to happen from time to time as we get more money. So this is, usually MOAs may be in place for a while, but ours has to be changed a lot. The money I'm talking about is the $5.1 million that we're getting over 18 years. We're 3 years into this, and we've spent a little bit of the money. Definitely not as much as we've taken in. But the good part is that this money kind of stacks up in your bank account, so we can spend it over time, and we don't want to do something that's not sustainable. So you have two options with the opioid settlement funds. You have option A, which are basically 12 different things that you're allowed to do, and kind of pull the trigger now, and then that gets voted on for the MOA, and you can do those things. And then option B is more of an intensive process to do. It takes about 12 months to really get off the ground. And what we're talking about tonight is all option A strategies. So what we're currently doing, like right now, is 5 different Option A strategies. Collaborative strategic planning kind of helps us facilitate meetings, get community engagements going, some stakeholder unit meetings and doing the facilitation of that. Evidence-based addiction treatment is helping people with opioid use disorder afford or improve the capacity of treatment programs around the area. Naloxone distribution is the antidote for opioid overdose. That's just saturating the area with naloxone. And then the post-overdose response team, we call that the community paramedic program. And as y'all know, those are the ones that go out into the field during an overdose or after an overdose and help people get into treatment or stay safe, that sort of thing. And then the syringe services program really is more of a harm reduction program, and we'll talk a little bit more about that too. So some of the things that we've done over the past 12 months, the collaborative strategic planning process helped us to fund a clinical research project. So the post-overdose response team has been in existence for over 2 years now. So we felt like it was appropriate to partner with Duke University, and we did basically a clinical research project with some of our participants that have come through the post-overdose response team program, and basically told their story of how impactful that was. We had the First Lady of North Carolina was here. She spoke. Ms. Harris was there. It was a great event. I've got some pictures from that to show you guys. And then we did 3 public forums this year. According to the books, we only have to do 1 public forum a year. And some people, talk about basically a closed doors meeting was their public forum. But we got on the road a little bit and went to Tarboro, to Rocky Mount, and then also to Pine Tops this year to just get some, ideas from the community about what we could do better. Evidence-based addiction treatment. So Rocky Mount Treatment Center that got some of our opioid settlement money, they treated 225 people primarily in the Rocky Mount area. They are the only treatment center that can do methadone in our area, so that's where most of the people that need methadone go, from Tarboro, Whitaker's, Pine Tops, those areas. And then our office-based opioid treatment partner, Freedom Hill Community Health Center, they served 140 people this year. So really a lot of people. We got a lot of bang for our buck there. Narcan distribution, so we distributed, almost 900 boxes of Narcan in our community, with first responders. A number of these Narcan boxes helped reverse someone's overdose. We know of at least 30 of those, but most of the time that number's underreported. So really we have no idea how many lives that saved, but it definitely did save some lives. Trained, 530 some odd people. The post-overdose response team helped refer almost 50 people into addiction treatment for the first time, so that's really, really cool. We served over 126 different people, got about 150 referrals from EMS and other places to our service. And then our syringe services program. So that's obviously one of the most controversial ones, but what I would like to add is that we started doing really, really heavy bloodborne pathogen testing as one of the service lines within that strategy, and we tested probably 50 different people for different things, and we got a new Hep C machine, which is cool, and I'll show you a picture of that too. But we diagnosed 5 people with hepatitis C that had no idea they had it, and those patients have gotten into treatment and they're doing well. So that's a big deal. And then we've safely discarded over 3,000 syringes that would otherwise end up in trash cans or streets or anything like that. So I think those are really, really cool statistics. But one of the biggest statistics for me is that we have 31 people that are engaged with the program, and 6 of those patients no longer use drugs. So these programs have been studied for many years, and what they find is that someone who's engaged in a syringe program is 5 times more likely to get into drug treatment and 3 times more likely to get off of drugs altogether. So the programs work. We're seeing really higher numbers than that. We've run it for a few years, but we're really seeing a good return on investment there. And unfortunately, we have had one participant that was deceased. So that just shows you how high stakes this type of work is. So this is a map of North Carolina on the bottom left. It shows you in kind of the hot colors where overdose mortality per capita is at some of the highest rates. So really Nash, Halifax, Warren, our area too. So we see this pocket kind of in the northeast, and then particularly kind of where I-95 intersects South Carolina. We see some heavy red colored there, and then out toward the west. A lot of those places are like us. They don't have many resources. It's kind of rural areas, so we're seeing a lot of the same struggles that those places are seeing as well. The good news is that since 2023, we've seen about a 25% reduction in overall overdose mortality as well as overdoses in general. I think there's a lot of reasons for that, but we have not seen that negative deflection yet. However, the rural areas seem to lag the urban areas when it comes to that. So I'm hopeful that we're kind of hitting the top of that curve right now, and then next year we'll really see the numbers get a lot better. I can't recall of that many deaths this year that I know that I responded to last year, and this data usually lags about 12 months. So we should see some improvement with that very soon. Calendar year overdoses, so keep in mind, we're only to December right now for this year, but I'm hopeful that we'll be less than 200 this year. And these are reported to EMS. So if somebody calls 911 and reports of an overdose to 911, this is where the metrics are coming from here. So we are seeing a downward trajectory there. These are some of the pictures. We just got back from Washington, D.C. at the American Public Health Association conference there. We were invited with a scientist from UNC, which is there, Dr. Nab. He runs the Street Drug Analysis Lab. We talked to the nation about some of the different programs that we do in Edgecombe County. So they thought it was pretty cool statewide, and then last month we got invited to hit the national stage. So we had a good time in D.C. Also, kind of what we launched in the middle part of October is a Narcan distribution box in Princeville. It is sit beside the pantry area, also where the library is up there too. We have some hygiene items in there as well. So, it's free to the public. They just go up, get the medication, and they can leave. So we've seen that medication being taken out of there quite a bit, which is that's what we want. So it's someplace that, somebody doesn't have to go to a pharmacy and feel, judged for I'm buying Narcan at the pharmacy. This is just a better location to do that. Not to mention we do have opioid settlement dollars for that. And to the public, if anybody needs Narcan, please, my contact information will be at the end. Please get up with me. We're happy to provide you Narcan and show you how to use it as well. And then that's the hepatitis C machine on the far right. We got a grant from North Carolina DHHS to do point-of-care hepatitis C. Before, it was almost 2 weeks before we got a hepatitis C result. Now we can do it in 55 minutes. So much better as far as getting people into treatment there. This is our new mobile education and outreach unit. So we take this out when we do naloxone trainings, show people how to, give Narcan we got a mannequin that we bring around too. But primarily we're using this as a doctor's office. So we've set this up for public events. We've gone to some of the rougher areas around the community and just set up and, welcome people in, just talk to them and ask them about street drug use, ask them about their overall health. And we've had a good amount of, return there as well. I think the first day we went to Rocky Mount on the south side in the city, we met 11 different people, and 2 of them used IV drugs. And we were just able to talk to them about that. And we got them signed up for the syringe program and all that sort of thing. So that was really, really cool to be able to talk to them because they never overdosed before. We would never have a touch point with them had it not been for this trailer. So we're really trying to push into other touch points besides just overdose because it's just too dangerous. So if we can do more prevention, that's really the focus here. And that's a picture of me and Trent back in the summertime. Not tonight. I wouldn't be wearing my shorts tonight. And then these are some pictures from the annual forums that we had around the county. The top left one was in Pine Tops. The bottom left was in Rocky Mount. We were at the event center. It was a great location. We appreciate their staff for really helping us put on a really nice meeting there. And then that was the flyer that we had sent out. So, and then I didn't have a picture of the one that we did in Tarboro, but I'm sure some of you guys were probably there too. And then this was the clinical research project that we did, the Photo Voice project. That was the First Lady of North Carolina speaking there. We had a number of the participants talk as well. And basically we had these prompts that they were given every week in group sessions, and they were to talk about their recovery with the prompts. And in the end, we produced these canvases And it was set up kind of like an art exhibit. It was really, really special, really great event. We did that at the community college. And then we also hosted the statewide post-overdose response team training. North Carolina Office of EMS thought we were doing a good job with how we run the program, so they decided to have a regional training, and we did that at the Edgecombe Works facility over the summer as well. So we had a really, really busy June. These are just some of the things that we offer as part of the PORT team. So one of the things was the street drug analysis lab. That's where we take street drugs, we found out what's in them, we send them to UNC, and that's what we went to DC to talk about, and then we do a number of other things as well. And, just because it's interesting, why not, since I'm here, I was going to show y'all some of the things that we see on the street. So opioids primarily are distributed as pills or in bags or in rocks. And these were some of the contaminants that we've discovered with some of the street drug testing. So if you see the bottom left, that's a Percocet, or what's sold as Percocet. There is no Percocet in this pill. It's primarily Tylenol and lidocaine, which are non-opioids. There's about 5% fentanyl there. So the pill, kind of to contrast it with the other one, that one's got a lot of fentanyl in it. It's also got carfentanil in there, which is another synthetic opioid, and xylazine as well. So, a lot of times when we see drug busts go up, overdoses go up as well. And the reason for that is because when someone's used to dealing with a dealer that's getting the Percocet that has the low fentanyl, their dealer gets locked up, they go to get another perk from somebody else, they may get the higher one, and their risk for overdose is higher. But we have a great relationship with the narcotics division here at Edgecombe. We work hand in hand with them, and they let us know when things like that are going to happen. That way we can kind of ramp up efforts. And we're prepared to tackle this thing at all different angles, from public health to the law enforcement side of things to prevention as well. And those are some other different contaminants as well. And that powder was pretty nasty. There was a pretty bad benzodiazepine that the street drug lab had never even heard of before. That's in the green. So really, this is high stakes work. We appreciate what y'all are doing to vote for some of the changes that we have to the MOA. And these are just to kind of give you, some feedback from the street level as to what's going on. Because sometimes you don't always see what's happening. You vote on something, you don't see what's going on. But this is it's good work happening. So I appreciate y'all for backing what we're doing, for the program and everything like that. Things that we're doing going forward, obviously we have an MOA update today, which we hope we get that passed. We hope to use the street outreach trailer a little bit more, and then really kind of push into employment-related services, early intervention programs, things like that, to try to get ahead of the curve with this. And we're also hosting, for some counties in eastern North Carolina, they're still not using funds yet, for opioid settlement funds. So we're hosting, me and my friend from Pitt County, we're hosting a regional kind of a collaboration to get people to use the funds. We're doing that in Pitt County later this week. So really looking forward to really kind of put Edgecombe out there as the role model. If we can do it, anybody can do it. And then kind of long term, really trying to do more sub-recipient work. We're working with Miss Linda at the finance department to partner with nonprofits, other people that are doing opioid settlement like work to get some of the funding to them to improve capacity and that sort of thing. So that's my contact information if anybody needs it, or y'all want to come help us out, come do a ride along, something like that. We'd love to have you, and we do have a website up as well. So I'll take any questions that you all may have.
Any question for Mr. Barrett? Go right ahead.
I appreciate what you're doing to make sure our citizens have access. But I have one concern when you said that you have Narcan near where the pantries are set up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just a little concerned, will children have access? They don't know what it is.
Yeah, I
They're
mean,
with a parent.
yeah. So anybody can go up to the machine, and we've got a device that has a video screen in there that will show anyone how to use it. But it could be possible that somebody could pull the thing down and get a box out. I mean, it takes a little technical skill to open it up. But the good news is that if a child does spray it, they eat it, they sniff it, something like that, is really nothing that can happen to them.
Any questions from the public? Hearing none. Thank you, Mr. Barrett.
Mr. Chairman, you'll see in your agenda packet a memo that outlines the proposed changes as Mr. Barrett noted there, that we need in the memorandum of agreement. You'll see that the changes include numerical reordering of the strategies, also increased allocation for the existing strategies, as well as introduction of additional strategies that he outlined there in his presentation. You'll see that currently the funding received and available is a little over $1.9 million. And so do recommend that you approve the amended MOA as presented.
Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Questions? All in favor, let it be known by the voting sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, the MOA is approved. Thank you so much. At this time, we're having a public hearing to approve resolution to participate in the CPACE program with Economic Development Partner of North Carolina. I call the public meeting to order. Mr. Peters, would you please read the public notice?
Yes, sir. Notice is hereby given that a public hearing will be held on Monday, December 1st, 2025 at 6:00 p.m. in the Jonathan Felton Commissioner's Room on the second floor of the County Administration Building located at 201 St. Andrew Street, Tarboro, North Carolina. The purpose of this public hearing is to consider and act on the proposed resolution declaring intent of Edgecombe County, North Carolina to participate in the Commercial Property Assessed Capital Expenditure CPACE program. Interested parties are encouraged to attend. A copy of the resolution declaring intent of Edgecombe County, North Carolina to participate in the Commercial Property Assessed Capital Expenditure CPACE program is on display in the County Manager's Office, 201 St. Andrew Street, Tarboro, North Carolina, 4th floor, Suite 402, and posted on the website at www.edgecombecounty.nc.gov. Those who wish to speak during the public hearing must sign in at the door prior to the start of the meeting. Citizens may also submit their comments / concerns via email to publiccomments@edgecombeco.com or by mail to Tammy Faison, Clerk to the Board, P.O. Box 10, Tarboro, North Carolina 27886. Due to the holiday closing, any written comments must be received by 5:00 p.m. on November 26th. That will be read at the meeting. The meeting will also be live streamed on the county's YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/@edgecombecounty.nc/streams. By order of the Board of Commissioners of Edgecombe County, signed Tammy Faison, Clerk to the Board of Commissioners.
Mr. Evans?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to call for Ms. Natalie Best, Deputy County Manager, who's going to give us a reminder and overview of this program.
CPACE stands for Commercial Property Assessed Clean Energy and is a financing tool that allows owners of commercial properties to finance energy efficiency, renewable energy, and resiliency upgrades by making special long-term assessments that are repaid alongside their property taxes. CPACE improvements allow property owners to save on their utility bills because the improvements lead to energy or utility savings and result in improved air quality or increased resilience, which will increase the ability of communities and local governments to respond to natural disasters and improve public health. Under North Carolina General Statutes, the Economic Development Partnership of North Carolina is designated to administer a commercial property assessed capital expenditure, or CPACE program, which allows the owners of qualifying property to obtain the long-term financing from private capital providers for certain qualifying improvements, up to 35% of the value of the property. Qualifying improvements include energy efficiency, renewable energy, resiliency, and water conservation, as well as improvements made to address safe drinking water. Joining the statewide program does not expose a local government to any financial or legal liability. Private capital providers and the statewide administrator, EDP&C, will assist interested commercial property owners to apply for the funding. Local governments that join the CPACE program will be reimbursed for actual and reasonable costs associated with executing the documents related to the assessments. To cover these costs, EDP&C will collect a $500 administration fee for approved CPACE projects at time of closing. Except for executing the documents necessary for the financing, there is no other administrative involvement by the local government.
Any questions of the board? Did you have somebody else here that come from the state?
No, sir.
At this time, is anybody here that would like to speak at public comments? I mean, during this public hearing. Is anybody to speak? If not, I'd like to join the public meeting. And is there a motion to approve the resolution?
So moved. Second.
Questions? All in favor, let it be known by the voting sign aye. Aye. All opposed? Hearing none, it is approved. Thank you so much. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to call for public petitions. I'm understanding that some people that submitted them email might have come in. Did anybody come in that have submitted theirs by email? Okay, what we can do when we get there, we make sure that Mr. Evans call you up, okay? Okay, we make sure. Anybody else? Okay, we'll make sure you get called up. At this time, Ms. Faison, would you please call?
First person on the list is Janice Bullock.
And please try to hold all your comments to 3 minutes. Please try to.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you for the 3 minutes. I'm not going to need the 3 minutes, but what I have to say will be impactful. My name is Janice Bullock. I live at 217 Freedom Lane off of Antioch Road. I reside in the Kingsborough Bullock community area. We are all for economic development. It's a tragedy that QVC burned, and it's a tragedy that they did not come back. Even more so, it's tragic that a young man lost his life. So I will admonish everyone to just continue to hold that family up in prayer. It's unfortunate that the tire plant plans fell through. It's unfortunate that the battery plant plans fell through. With this data center proposal, selling the land, that's disturbing for me and those of us that live in the Kingsborough Bullock community. Like I said, we're all for economic development. At your meeting last month, an example was given of the Memphis site. That was a humongous site. And as far as I'm concerned, it just looked like a monstrosity. Now, my concern is that's what being proposed for us. We are not getting clear information. A comment was made about that Memphis site, that it was in the middle of nowhere. Well, the Kingsborough Industrial Park is not in the middle of nowhere. It's in our community. It's in our community, not in the middle of nowhere. And that's what that Memphis site was classified as and used as an example for you all to base your decision on putting something in Kingsborough. I urge you, and if I am in order, I have a petition of over 200 names of people in the county and neighboring counties that are opposed to selling the land for a data center. So if I'm in order, I will.
Please submit it. Please give it to the manager.
The last thing I want to say is that those that you see behind me that dressed in red, that's not only for the spirit of Christmas, but for the Edgecombe neighbors for data accountability esprit de corps. In our support of asking you to listen to the people. Listen to the people. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Bullock. Next. Did you call, Ms.
His
Faison?
name is David Batts.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good
My
afternoon.
name is David Batts. I'm from the Kingsborough community. I was born and raised there. I raised my kids there. I have grandchildren there. And my question is, will this data center benefit our people in Kingsbury and the surrounding counties. We heard about this, some of the information that was given out, and some of it is not very clear. About the 500 jobs that will be dwindled down to about 35 or 40, with most of them being construction jobs. And not talking about anyone, but those jobs will be filled by Hispanics. Nothing against them. You see a lot of them in the room. Those are the people that we want to have some benefit of this company. I'm a disabled veteran with over 60% hearing loss. And I walk into a Dollar General today and walk by the cooler machines, and you can hear that sound, and it's very upsetting. So I say to you, every one of y'all are commissioners, and y'all have term limit. We will primary you. I want y'all to be clear that we will primary you. And we will try to get people that will really stand up for the community of Kingsbury. Thank you.
Thank you.
Rosita Cox.
Hello.
Good to hear you.
My name's Rosita Cox. I'm actually born and raised in Kinston, North Carolina, but I understand that what happens here can happen anywhere in Eastern North Carolina. There is a reason why they are proposing for these sensors to be in our community specifically. And I ask you all to look beyond the billions of dollars, the 500 jobs, with the pollution, with the noise pollution, with the air pollution. Whoever gets those jobs, bless their heart, because they're not going to live very long. And I also remind you, we are all one organism, which means that your families live here, my family lives here. Whatever goes into the air, you can't compartmentalize it. That's what makes climate change so amazing. You cannot racialize the solution. You can't make it by class. And so whatever you decide impacts your bloodline. And I also, as I will always remind you, that we are in the birthplace of the environmental justice movement, which means that I'm so tired of our elders having to come out of their homes in the cold and tell you year after year after year after year that we don't want harmful stuff in our community. It's not hard. There's nothing about the information that's confusing. It's very clear. It's harmful. It's going to bring a little bit of jobs, and it's going to bring y'all a lot of tax write-offs and a lot of money. But the people sitting out here who voted for you do not benefit. And the way that we voted for you, I just unseated Kinston's mayor. Ask about me. We will get you out of here too.
Next person, Kendrick Ransom.
How's everyone doing?
All right.
Great. So my name is Kendra Ransom. I'm from everywhere in Edgecombe County, but I live in Pine Tops, 302 North 12th Street. So yeah, I just wanted to briefly introduce myself, if you guys are not familiar with me. So like I said, my name is Kendrick Ransom. I'm the chairman of Just Foods Collaborative, where we do a lot of policy work and bring in equitable solutions to Edgecombe and Nash County. I'm also farmer at Golden Organic Farm, where we produce livestock and produce to strengthen the soil biodiversity, but also to increase access to healthy foods to our citizens here. Furthermore, I'm town commissioner in Pine Tops, as well as I'm the chief agriculture officer at Freedom Organization, where we have invested millions of dollars into land acquisition to preserving farms and farmland for historical communities. So as you may realize right now, allowing this data center to enter Edgecombe County is highly combative to a lot of the work that not only my organizations are working with, but also is highly compatible to the Get Off the List initiatives that the county has been pushing for the last couple of years. So my question, well, one of my questions is, what makes this what makes sense to this to really come here? You know, we're thinking about the sustainability of the land. We're talking about sustainability of generations of children, and we're talking about access to food. We're talking about putting negative vibrations into our farmland. We're talking about over 150,000 acres of farmland here in Edgecombe County. So are any of our farmers taking into considerations? Are any of you guys farmers? No? Okay. So no farmers is being considered throughout this process, which is highly,
I wouldn't say that they're not being considered. Okay.
okay,
Okay.
just a thought.
Okay.
But I just ask you that you consider this because it's very disturbing, you know, and like I said, we're gonna fight this until we can't fight no more. So however y'all wanna go about it, that's the way it's gonna go, all right? So, appreciate it.
Next, Ms. Face.
Marquetta Dickens.
Good morning, well, afternoon. It's been a long day for me. It's my first week of vacation. But as Coach Yao always taught me, you never let the urgent get in the way of the important. And I urgently need a vacation, as I'm sure you all do. But this collective matter is very important to me. So again, my name is Marquetta Dickens. My domicile is 301 River Run Road, Rocky Mount, North Carolina, because I always intend to come home. I'm a co-founder of Freedom Organization and owner of Freedom Development Enterprise. I submit this comment on behalf of many in our region who care deeply about preserving rural culture, land, and community welfare in eastern North Carolina. While most will bring you data on what development we don't want to see here, I want to leave the board with alternatives because I don't believe in complaining without bringing solutions to the table. Edgecombe's development should be rooted in culture, agriculture, and people, not extraction. Edgecombe County is not merely open land waiting to be used. It is home to a thriving, resilient culture. Our development strategy should enhance that culture, not displace it, nor drain our shared resources. Extractive projects like data centers do not align with who we are, nor the economic future our residents deserve. Rural, community-based economic development is a proven growth strategy. Rural counties across the U.S. have demonstrated that the highest return, most sustainable development pathways are those that build upon local strengths, not those that consume massive natural resources while creating few jobs. Edgecombe is positioned to lead in several high-growth areas. I will leave you with just two tonight. Number one, agriculture and local food systems, which is a major economic engine. A community-led agriculture strategy like the One Freedom Org is already building creates more jobs per acre, keeps dollars local, and strengthens our local food system, and secures our local food system. I don't know if you know this or not, but Edgecombe County is a food desert. We are part of the food apartheid, even though we brag on being one of the economics being one of our most impactful economic drivers in this county. But we are still a food desert at the end of the day. Every $1 invested in local food infrastructure generates up to $7 in local economic activity, far higher than a data center's economic multiplier. Number two, sustainable tech and innovation without extraction. The future of tech in rural communities does not have to be energy-hungry data centers. Instead, Edgecombe can grow green technology training and jobs, solar and renewable energy cooperatives that reduce household costs, digital upskilling and remote work centers that connect residents to high-wage jobs, ag tech, climate resilience tech, and food tech linked to local agriculture. Remind you, Edgecombe County is one of the most impacted flood-prone counties in the state. These sectors produce people-centered innovation without burdening our water, land, or grid. Why these alternatives matter? Unlike AI data centers, they create more jobs per dollar. They build long-term place-based wealth. They strengthen rural resilience. They align with Edgecombe culture, land, and people. And they do not put our water, our energy grid, nor our health at risk. This is the economic development that matches who we are and what our communities need. We need a responsible path forward because of these gaps that we don't even know about, let alone what we do know for facts is that they take almost the power of 1,000 homes. If we have so much excess water, then why are our farmers going through drought? It has been reported that Edgecombe County is one of, I believe, two counties that is in a severe drought, but we hear our representatives that represent you tell us how much excess water we have.
Your time is expiring. Okay.
Thank you.
Wind down for us. Wind down for us, please.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for your leadership, and I look forward to speaking with you more.
Thank you.
Kevin Wilson.
Kevin Wilson, 3767 Howard Avenue. It was been some years ago that I participated in a meeting such as this, but it was at the community college where we're discussing IBP. The community college auditorium was filled, and I would suggest that if you did that again, the groundswell of momentum of people that are coming to their senses and learning about this thing more and more would fill that auditorium up again and say no as well. I participated in a great deal in the town of Tarborough's discussions and hearings dealing with the same developer and his plans. And I submitted by email, not something I want to read tonight, but it's several pages of facts pertaining to two of the items that the developer says are factual with that, one being his availability of natural gas, which comes from fracking all over the United States, which destroys the environment wherever it's done. That's where this natural gas would come from, but we are an exporting country right now of natural gas. So can they really guarantee the supply of natural gas they need to run this equipment for a long period of time? That should be in question. Also, the whole idea of a carbon sponge or something that sequesters carbon out of the air has never been proven. It's been tried in small applications in different places for different industries, and it may at the best have a 95% actual rate of work, but not in this kind of situation with these kinds of heavy metals that we'd be putting out through the burning of natural gas. I would also like to close by stating or reading from Governor Stein's Executive Order number 24 from September 2nd of this year. The state officially acknowledged the uncertainty around AI systems and their associated energy and water needs is creating new challenges for all of North Carolina. That how can we maintain adequate, reliable electricity and water supply, not unfairly raising the cost for ratepayers, leaving North Carolinians responsible for the cost of unnecessary or underutilized infrastructure. There's some data out that says most of these AI centers are not being used to their full capacity. If that's the case, why do they need another one here? I'll close with that.
Madam Clerk.
Next person is Don Cavallini.
Good evening.
All right.
My name is Don Cavallini. I live at 101 Lancaster Drive, Greenville, North Carolina. The last time I addressed this august board, I was advocating for affordable, quality housing for senior citizens and those who are otherwise able to be positioned on a plot of land, 14.3 acres between Pine Tops and Tarboro. And this board, in its ultimate wisdom, found unanimously in favor of changing the permit so that development could be built. Unfortunately, the funding has not come in, but you chose to do that. Our Vice Chair, Ms. Harris, who I recently met, I know if you had been on the board at the time, you would have voted similarly. So I approach the board tonight with two purposes. One, to urge the board not to sell the property, the people's property, to an entity planning a data mining center, which would put a huge burden on power and water resources in the Kingsborough area. And the second purpose is to encourage the people who are here, to encourage you because we fought a data center in Pitt County and we won. You can keep data centers from your community. Compute North tried to put 80 supercomputers within 1,000 yards of an elementary school serving an overwhelming number of Black and Spanish-speaking students. If it had been allowed to be placed there, it would have required 1,000 industrial-sized fans just to cool the 80 supercomputers. Can you imagine the noise that would have generated and how hard it would have been for those students to concentrate and for those teachers to teach? Well, we, a strong multiracial coalition, convinced the Pitt County Commission to inform the company they would not get the permit they were seeking. They withdrew after, at first, getting approval from the City Council in Greenville. Compute North were presented with such requirements that no data mining would ever be located within the city limits. We won, you can win also.
Madam Clerk?
Raina Masri.
Good evening. My name is Rania Masri. I'm the co-director of the North Carolina Environmental Justice Network. I come to you from Wake County. And I come to you from Wake County because what harms communities in Edgecombe County harms all the communities in North Carolina. I'm here today to urge you to reject the sale of the public lands to Energy Storage Solution for this data center. This project is being presented as a data center. It is not. According to the company's own documents, this facility may drill and burn natural gas, may require a gas pipeline, and may operate large diesel generators. Thereby, the project is basically an off-grid industrial power plant, not a data center. Natural gas combustion and diesel emissions pose very serious health risks that are known as Group 1 carcinogens. Before any land is sold, the public deserves answers to basic questions. How many generators? What kind of emissions? What fire safety plans? And does the Edgecombe Local Fire Department even have the resources to respond to a data center fire? And then when we think about water, Department of Environmental Quality recently stated that 92 of North Carolina's 100 counties are considered in drought. And Edgecombe County is one of 2 counties in severe drought. And this company claims it will only use 500,000 gallons of water a day, and yet a data center of that size would actually require 3 to 5 million gallons a day. So can this county even gamble with such an essential resource such as water? Data centers like this one also use chemicals that contribute to PFAS contamination, and according to the EPA, there is no safe level of PFAS exposure. Thereby, this data center will be bringing contaminants to the community's water supply. The community will also face constant noise. The company says that the noise will not exceed 60 decibels, but the level of decibels at night should not exceed 40 decibels. We're talking about constant noise of 60 decibels. That is a problem to human health, particularly to children. And yet we're told that we should be able to risk all this because of jobs. And here becomes the biggest fallacy. This company claims 500 jobs, yet its own documents show only 69 permanent positions, a third of which are secretary, security, or janitorial. Very few are high-skill, high-paid jobs. And we know from studies in the United States, every 1.95, almost $2 million spent subsidizing a data center produces one job. $2 million for one job. And still we're told, well, we're going to get some property taxes from this data center. That's also false according to the company's own documents. According to the company's own documents, by year 7, they would not be paying any more property tax because of depreciation of property value. Rather, because they are a data center, they are exempt from sales and usage tax, which means that we will be paying them. We will be subsidizing for them. In Lenoir County, Lenore County pays the data center there 14 times as much money as they get from the data center. So from a strict financial perspective, this project will be a financial loss to the county and to the state, and will cause water pollution, noise pollution, and air pollution.
Please wind
So they
up.
really bring nothing good to the county nor to the state. I urge you to vote no. And I'm sending you here copies, if I may. These are copies of the longer written public comment that I gave you, as well as copies of my own oral comment right now. Thank you all for your time.
Thank you.
Clark Joyner.
I'm sorry that took so long. My name is Clark Joyner, and I've lived in Edgecombe County pretty much all my life. I'm a resident of the Kingsborough area, and I'm not an expert on data centers, but I don't believe there's a whole lot of people that are right now. But from what I hear from them, I'm really concerned, and especially for our neighborhood, I'm concerned about the environmental parts of this thing, which I think could possibly be a disaster for our residents. And I really don't see where it's going to benefit the county that much. If there are benefits, I'd like to know. But I'm concerned about things such as the water capacity. I understand these things take millions of gallons of water, and right now we're in a drought. I'm concerned about, from what I hear about the noise levels of these things. 24 hours, 7 days a week. And if there are going to be noise problems, I know that I'm the age now where I can't hardly sleep, much less with noise. And neither can these people in our area. I'm concerned about whether we're going to have increases in our electrical and our water. It's just a lot of problems that I really don't think it's any benefit for us to get into. And I'd just like to say that several years ago, there was a lot of people, and they're in this room, and excuse me, they helped save the county and the eastern part of this state from what I thought was an environmental disaster. We don't need another one. Thank you.
Thank you.
James Reed.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
My name is Chairman Wiggins, Commissioners, Mr. Evans. My name is James Wren, 704 NC 97 East and Leggett. I want to address the energy storage solution proposal for a massive data center on 122 acres of land now owned by the Edgecombe County in Kingsborough. Data centers of the 2020s are like the hog farms and slaughterhouses of the 1990s. Come with promise of much-needed funds for the county government while exposing the citizens of the surrounding community in Edgecombe County with serious environmental hazards. The UDO revisions approved at your last meeting attempted to address noise and lighting issues, but there was no mention of the toxic air issues as a result of the natural gas fuel generators that Energy Storage Solutions now propose to use to power this data center in Kingsborough. Last month, we heard that Mr. Evans, Mr. Matthews, and Mr. Boswell, I believe, flew out to Memphis to see the huge AI data center Elon Musk has built out there, because there's no data center in North Carolina like what Mr. Schaefer and Mr. Daughters are proposing for Kingsborough. Mr. Matthews reported on the noise levels, but there was no mention of the nitrogen dioxide air pollution from Elon Musk's 30-plus natural gas generators powering his data centers 24/7 that's now causing asthma, COPD, and breathing problems in the black community of Boxtown near the site, according to Time Magazine, the Wall Street Journal, Tennessee Lookout, and even last Friday, Times of London article. All this for these giant computers, crypto mining for billionaires. Residents of Boxtown outside of Memphis say they don't need a billionaire, they need clean air. Kingsborough residents say the same thing. Edgecombe County is the most populous black majority county in North Carolina. Reich Longus of the Duke Environmental Law Center has asked, why is Edgecombe County chosen as a sacrifice zone? Just as with the regional hazardous waste dump near Cadena that we stopped in 1988, and the IPP hog slaughterhouse that we stopped in Kingsborough in 1996, we call on you as Edgecombe County Commissioners to vote no on this data center in Kingsborough. Protect Edgecombe County. Don't allow Edgecombe County to be a sacrifice zone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bronson Williams.
Good evening to each and every one of you. There's a song a gospel singer sings. It says, I go if I have to go by myself. And so what I want to talk about is, one, first of all, thank each and every one of you been elected and serving the residents of Edgecombe County. When I hear information about a proposed data center in our county, and similar to what I heard at the event center some years ago, it was a combination of cons, why it couldn't happen. While I think people's concerns are legitimate, I think they have given some excellent conversation pieces about what the impacts are to the environment and how do you mediate that. But to simply say no, I think that impedes economic development. To simply say no stops growth. When we think about AI data centers and what they do, when we talk about net benefit, let's think about healthcare at large. How hospitals and doctors all across this country are using technology through at the purpose of data centers that impact all across this country. Every year I have an opportunity to go to Las Vegas, and I go to the CES convention. That's the Consumer Electronics Show. And I see all this autonomous things happening. I see all of this advent of technology. Technology is going to happen. Whether that data center is built in Edgecombe County or whether it's built in Kalamazoo, the benefits that we get as a community, we may not realize them at this present moment because we have another point, we may not have all the facts, but there are a number of organizations that are developed all across this country where they don't have all the facts, but they work through those issues. They navigate the problems. They overcome the challenges. And so when I think about the civil rights movement, for a matter of fact, there were a number of challenges that went on there, but we was able to overcome some of those challenges. I don't want us to be a county to say no. I look at Rocky Mount, North Carolina. Years ago, there was Abbott's Laboratory that came to the city of Rocky Mount. In that same time period, 5 pharmaceutical companies went to Wilson County. Why wasn't Rocky Mount able to attract new business, new pharmaceutical companies? I look at Sanderson's Farm, in which there was great outrage about the chicken factory for Sanderson's Farms in Nash County. They went down the street to Kinston. I heard no more about water pollution and things happening in Sanderson's Farm. I've seen the jobs in Kinston. I've seen all of the activity going on. I've seen a great water park that exists there that was financed through other things. So what I hope Edgecombe County will do is, again, while there may be 200 signatures saying no, there'll probably be another 200 signatures saying yes if we go throughout the county. But I hope that we do not appreciate technology. And if there is a way that I can depreciate my property and not pay property taxes, can you please let me know? Because I too want to do that. And lastly, a business partner of mine said that if I had a fifth of liquor, I'll be drunk. So the reality is we can have a whole bunch of what-if situations. I think they're very valid, but as long as we have tactical solutions as to how we're going to mitigate that. But again, I'll leave what you're saying. Let's listen to the conversation. Let's explore the opportunity. And let's build something great in Edgecombe County. And I'll say, I'll go if I have to go by myself.
Thank you. Next.
That's it on the list.
Mr. Chairman, we have a few still that were sent in by
Please,
email. If you'd like me
please
to read.
please go ahead and read those, please.
So I have one email sent by Miss Cindy J. Elmore, and her comments are, I was among the many opponents of a crypto data center in Greenville 2 years ago, and everyone here is so glad we can't have these energy-sucking, electric bill-raising, deafeningly loud data centers here. You will regret it if you let this behemoth in. Be better than this. Your county can economically thrive in other ways. Don't give in to big tech billionaires. They aren't in this for you. Here is one from Miss Patsy Vickers, and her comments are, I'm concerned about the vote that is going to make Edgecombe County home to a data center. From all my research, I believe that we can do better for Edgecombe County. I know that the equipment is already sitting, waiting in a storage area, and it seems that this has been going on for a good while before the public was informed. We have watched numerous deliveries pass by our home, alternate 64, to the storage site in Rocky Mount. And also, the rush to get it passed during the holiday season is not conducive to good governance. There needs to be public discussion and time to discuss this before you vote on it. I do not think you have talked to people or residences that live near a data center or counties that have adopted them so quickly, and then found out they were not what they thought they were. There have been complaints about noise levels, water shortages, climate changes, and unfair power bills. I'm asking as a citizen of Edgecombe County for you to give the public time and yourselves time to find out the cons and pros of this before you continue. Don't vote just because you're told yes. Do your own research. That is why you are elected. I was part of the IBP protest when everybody thought it was a great idea, and we had to convince the commissioners that it was not. I personally talked to someone who lived near an IBP plant. I'm pretty sure now that there are many in Edgecombe County that work for IBP that are thankful we asked the commissioners not to do this. It's unbelievable that here we are again, all those years later, trying to force something on the Edgecombe County residences that many do not want and have questions about. We have also been told by residents from other states that it is a huge mistake to jump on board this, even though our state, the state of North Carolina, has passed laws making it easier than ever to locate in a rural community without the blessing of the residents. I urge you to put this on hold, until it has been thoroughly discussed and that the public has been adequately informed. Doing this during the Christmas holidays in the month of December, when many people are not even aware of what is going on, is grossly unfair. You are accountable to the people who elected you as a voter. I'm asking you to delay this decision until you have visited and talked to your constituents in an honest, forthright manner. Ms. Patsy Vickers. I have another from Jim Reams. His comments are, I am a longtime citizen of Edgecombe County. My family and I oppose the data center being put in Edgecombe County. We are against this and in no way welcome it to Edgecombe County. Signed, Jim Reams. And then the final one is from Dr. Jill Twark. Her comments are, Dear Sir or Madam, I am an ECU professor who lives in Greenville, North Carolina. not far from the Tar River, and I'm writing to oppose the construction of an AI data center upstream from us in Edgecombe County. Data centers produce noise pollution, use copious amounts of water for cooling, and consume lots of electricity to keep the computer processors running. In fact, this new data center would consume the entire power output of the nuclear plant in Wake County. Blue Ridge Public Radio reporter Zachary Turner writes, quote, "The $19 billion 900 megawatt data center would require energy equal to the total output of the Sharon Harris nuclear reactor in Wake County," end quote. A huge data center is currently being built for Amazon between Raleigh and Charlotte. Now, I'm also wondering if that data center and others like it might cover our data center processing needs already, and there's a link here to an article with the News and Observer. I thus urge you, before allowing this data center to be built in your county, to do some research into other current and planned data centers in nearby Virginia, other parts of North Carolina, Tennessee, and South Carolina, to see if this new data center is truly necessary. Citizen opposition to this project is growing for the reasons I have stated above. Thank you for considering this request, Dr. Jill Twark, Professor of German, East Carolina University, Chair of Friends of Greenville Greenways. The others that were submitted, the folks were here tonight to speak their comments.
What's your last name?
Twark, Twark.
It appears that ends our public petition. Any comments from the board or anything staff would like? Ms. Evans?
No, sir. I think we'll take all of this information into consideration.
Any comments from the board? Well, I'd just like to thank everybody for their comments. And you can rest assured that this board will certainly consider all of the comments. I'm sorry, ma'am.
I signed to speak, but I was never called.
Were you on the list?
Yes.
Where, did we miss?
Around 5:10.
Please come forward. Please come forward. Come on. Please come. I'm sorry. We missed you, ma'am.
My name is Jennifer Eason. I live on a farm. I'm the third generation. I'm so thankful for that. I think agriculture is certainly a very positive thing for our community, and I wish we would celebrate it more than we do. And so I'm all with the farm preservation. I would like to request a moratorium on the data centers because of the meetings that I've been to and watched online. I feel like we are being pushed into it, or I sense urgency around it, and that we have not had enough time to really research and for the citizens of Edgecombe County to understand, number one, what is a data center? I'm sure there's a lot of people out in the county that don't even understand what it is, and what are the impacts to our community, and what are other communities seeing where they already have data centers. And then I would like to question, the first thing you want to know, a data center's coming. Okay, who owns the land? Well, it's us. It's Edgecombe County. So why do our county commissioners think it's a good idea? And before, it was not in our Unified Development Ordinance to even allow data centers. The town council went through that. You have to get a special use permit. You have to hold a public hearing. So did the data center developers approach us prior to adding those in our Unified Development Ordinance so we could sell them the land and it would already be a use that is, available for that zoning? So if it's allowed in the zone, they don't have to have a special use permit. And I'm assuming we don't have to have a public hearing if it's automatically allowed in the zone. So what came first? The developer wanting to buy the land from the county, and the county chose to change the Unified Development Ordinance to allow it in a zone, because if they applied for a special use permit, if it wasn't allowed in the zone, we could make restrictions for it to meet and account for the public's concern. Like as in, the town council in Tarboro It was a special use hearing, and they denied it, but we could have placed restrictions on them. And, you know, if they exceed, you know, we've heard they use a lot of water, they use a lot of electricity, we don't know what's gonna happen with our utility bills. We could impose restrictions. I don't know why this was not recommended at the council, but, you know, we could place fines on this data center. We're a poor county, we need the money. So let's place, you know, they have deep pockets and they're gonna make a lot of money. Let's place excessive fines on them to come to our county. If they're gonna be here and everybody uses Facebook and social media and so forth, and I've seen the comments on Facebook, you know, if we're gonna have data centers, let them make them pay for it. Pay for it. We're a poor county, we could use the money. Like I said before, we can, you know, I don't know where all this is going, but I feel this sense of urgency, and I don't like it because so many people don't understand it. So I'm requesting the moratorium on data centers to give everyone a chance to understand this and its impact on our community.
Thank you. Any comments from the board? Well, there has been no sense of urgency from this board. There might have been some of you getting the information late, but this has been a very open process, even in the rezoning, and it is our land. And I can't tell you what the position of this board would do, but I know that in all of our consideration, and a lot of our consideration in a lot of things as it relates to economic development is done in a closed session. The general statute allow us to do that. And this board is very as concerned as you are about any environmental issues as it relates to anything that we put in our county. That has been an ongoing concern of this board. And I'm probably a senior in terms of time on this board, and that's always a consideration of anything that comes to this board. I have not talked with this about any board member here, so I don't know what their position is. But we are, as I said, the zoning is in place. It is our land, and that it is a decision. It is not on the agenda. So if in fact it does get on this agenda, the public will know. Okay, the public will know. Is there any other comment from this board as it relates to any of the
Just
hearing?
wanted to thank everybody
Go
for
ahead.
all of the
Yes, I do.
information. Some that personally I may not have had. And I did write down a couple of things before I would vote. I would want to have conversations with people where there are data centers. Because like you, I like to talk to the folks who actually live where it's happening. Just not the people who are going to build it, but the people who have to live by it and see it every day. Also, I would like to see environmental studies from those same kind of things. So don't think that we're just going to go in blindly. There are lots of things you'd have to check into before you get a yes vote from me. And as you said, restrictions. We still have the opportunity to put in restrictions before anybody comes to do anything in Edgecombe County. So I want you to understand that just like you, I was born and raised here in Edgecombe County and plan to stay here until the good Lord takes me home. And I want to live in a safe, clean environment just like the rest of you. And just like all of you, we do pay taxes as well. And we want to make sure those taxes are spent correctly. So thank you for coming.
And tax revenue is not a number one consideration for anything that we bring to this county. It is a consideration, but tax revenue is not. Next on the agenda, Mr. Evans, other business.
You have for your consideration tonight budget amendments. I'll review those that require your
Excuse
approval.
me just a minute.
Yes, sir.
Let's take a quick recess,
Sure.
okay? Okay, in case we got some. Okay, let's take a quick recess, okay? to wait on my commissioner.
I done see my Chick-fil-A sandwich gonna be cold when I get them out.
That's what we got. I could use one of those about this. Go bring me a nugget.
I need to tell Mr. Woodley we didn't adjourn.
Yeah, they're still shaking hands.
He learned how to politic. He politic.
Going to the bathroom this time.
Out there? And he might not know it's one here. Right. You might not know it's one here. Okay.
Not a 15-minute break. Not that many. Minutes.
Must not listen. Thank you. See this part in this soil and water.
Let's see if it- We're back in session. Go ahead, Ms. Evans.
All right, so we are under other business, item A, consideration of budget amendments. You have 4 in front of you that require your approval. The rest are for your information. Budget amendment number 1 is to appropriate insurance claim received for repairs to damages to an EMS vehicle. Budget amendment 2 is also to appropriate insurance proceeds received. A contractor that hauls our trash, our waste bins from our county buildings, damaged security gate at the sheriff's office. It's a very expensive gate, as you can see. Their insurance is covering the costs less their deductible. So we're needing to appropriate, as you see, $50,000 from fund balance to cover the difference of that. There is a contract later in the agenda I'll ask you to approve related to that. Budget amendment number 3, you'll recall with the Natron Energy project, they had asked us to execute an exclusivity agreement where we essentially did not market what we call Pad B for a number of months. And in return for that, they had to put money in an escrow account, total $700,000. When they did not move forward with the project, the county was able to claim those funds in escrow. So it's $700,000 less the $600 escrow fee, so $699,400 that needs to be appropriated. Recommending through this budget amendment that we appropriate part of those funds to be appropriated in our capital outlay fund that will cover architectural engineering costs related to our capital projects. Also recommending that we also budget, you see those 2 lines, that's 104920, 2 lines under that, under that part of our budget. That's in the economic development part of that, recommending we add it to the line for what we refer to as land and right-of-way cost. We will need to do some additional vegetation management, as we call it, mowing, and also probably some tree removal. As you know, a lot of money was spent on Pad B out there, and because it's not been developed, it's starting to not just get grass and bushes to grow, but some trees are starting to grow. We need to make sure that we keep that clean as best we can. We also need to do some signage at Kingsborough to better identify the park. And finally, we've learned that wetlands are part of the property, as they are, many parts of the properties here in the county. They need to be delineated by an engineer so that it can be determined where someone can build and where they can't build. That had been done some years ago. The rules for wetlands has changed, and so we need to have that work redone. And so we need to go out and get some quotes on doing that. So all of those things we're recommending to appropriate funds under those 2 lines under Kingsborough. Budget amendment number 4 is reallocating funds for insurance claims for vehicle repair. So those are the 4 budget amendments that require your approval. I'm happy to answer the questions that you might have about those or any others, and I recommend that you approve.
Motion?
Second.
Questions?
1 second.
Go right ahead.
Not a question, just Mr.
I
Peters.
don't think so, but you can if you want, just for the abundance of caution.
You good?
Thank you.
All in favor, let it be known by the voting sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none. The budget minutes are approved. Moving on.
Item B is the approval of your regular meeting schedule for the public's awareness. It is required of Board of Commissioners to establish their regular meeting schedule before the start of the new year. So you'll see that all of the meetings have been mapped out from January through December of next year. Normally, our meetings are on the first Monday of the month unless it falls on a holiday, in which case that will be in September, where our meeting will be on Tuesday instead of Monday because of Labor Day holiday. But I recommend that you approve the meeting schedule as presented.
Motion.
Second.
Question. All in favor, let it be known by the voting sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none. It is approved. Next.
Also for your approval is the 2026 holiday schedule. You see those dates listed as our typical holidays that we've been recognizing now. I do want to note in your packet for Christmas, the date should be December 24th, 25th, and 28th. The 28th is a Monday. I believe there's a corrected copy at your seat, but I recommend that you approve the holiday schedule for 2026 as presented.
Motion.
Motion.
Second.
Questions. All in favor, let it be known by the voting sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none. It is approved. Next.
Item D is regarding a resolution affirming the Edgecombe County Board of Commissioners annual examination of bonds. This is something new. Ms. Faison, our clerk, learned in training that she took, is something that we are required to do every December. We always have fidelity bonding for those that are necessary to be bonded here at the county. What we've learned is that every year in December, this board needs to acknowledge our bonding. If I could, real quickly, since this is our first time, I'm going to read through this relatively short resolution. It says here, whereas this North Carolina General Statutes 587220 states that a county must annually review the official fidelity bonds of specified officers on the first Monday in December, and if the bond security is found to be impaired or insufficient, the county must renew or strengthen the bond so that the coverage remains adequate for the office's duties. Whereas the Edgecombe County Board of Commissioners acknowledges the annual review of the bonds for the officers named by this general statute annually. Whereas the Edgecombe County Board of Commissioners determines that upon examination of the bonds, it appears that security has not been impaired and remains sufficient to cover the amount of money or property to secure the faithful performance of the duties of their office. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Commissioners hereby affirms that the bond is within the limits prescribed by law. Be it further resolved that the board finds no need for renewal, strengthening, or additional security, and that no increase in the penalty of the bond is required pursuant to that general statute. I do have here in front of me, and my apologies, did not include it in your agenda packet, but have copies of the current and valid fidelity bonds for employees that are required to be bonded. Have included our register of deeds. We have our finance director, our chief financial officer, our sheriff, also the bond that covers our tax office, and all of these are in the amounts as are approved and recommended by statute and affirmed by our auditor. So I recommend that you approve the resolution as presented.
Motion.
So moved.
Second. Questions. All in favor, let it be known by the voting sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, it is approved. Next.
Item E is regarding lottery fund applications from Edgecombe County Schools. Edgecombe County Schools plans to use state lottery funds to perform roof repairs at South Edgecombe Middle School. To use these funds for this project, the Board of Commissioners must jointly request the release of those funds along with Edgecombe County Schools. Therefore, before you are the applications for the Public School Capital Fund, which have already been approved by the school board. I recommend that you approve the application as presented.
There a motion? Second? Questions? All in favor, let it be known by the voting sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, it is approved. Next.
Next item is regarding proposed facility use policy for our Edgecombe Works Career Campus. Presented for your consideration is the Edgecombe Works Career Campus facility use and occupancy policy. This policy establishes the operational framework, usage guidelines, leasing structures, and administrative oversight for the county's new workforce development campus. Edgecombe Works Career Campus is a key component of the county's long-term workforce development strategy and supports the broader goals of the Getting Off the List initiative. The facility is designed to serve as a multipurpose hub for training, credentialing, career services, employer engagement, and cross-agency collaboration. To ensure the facility operates in a consistent, mission-aligned, and financially sustainable manner, staff developed the attached policy. This policy will guide daily operations, protect county resources, and ensure equitable access for residents and partners who utilize the career campus. Approval of this policy will allow staff to move forward with formal scheduling, leasing, and program coordination in preparation for the upcoming growth in campus activity. I do want to note that the policy does include, as you've seen, include the role of a facility manager. This is not a position we currently have, but we will need to work our way towards creating that position in the near future. The success of the building in accomplishing its mission will require someone to properly manage the facility. For the public's knowledge, just want to note where this building is. This was used to be known as the Edgecombe County Business Incubator. It's located in Rocky Mount in Fountain Park. The county was able to acquire that through a grant in partnership with Edgecombe Community College. It was a grant that they were not able to use for another project that fell through. We were able to get that repurposed, and so now the county has bought that. We've done a soft launch of the building. We've been using the building some. Many of you have attended functions in the building, and our goal is to create an Edgecombe Works Career Campus, help our folks use that as a tool to help our folks get off that list, in particular the high unemployment list. So happy to answer any questions that you might have, but I recommend that you approve the policy as presented.
Any questions before we get a motion? Motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Questions?
Question.
Go ahead.
Now, somebody's already doing this, right?
Somebody's already doing what, I'm sorry?
Like scheduling, buildings, like all the buildings, it'd be the same kind of thing?
Similar, yes, ma'am.
But you're talking about getting a separate person?
Yes, ma'am, because I believe that there will be enough activity when it's fully operational that it'll need somebody on site to manage. And one thing, it's so remote from all the rest of our facilities, when it's fully utilized, there could be a number of activities that are going on in that building. So right now, we don't have a presence of a county employee in the building.
There's gonna need some kind of county supervision over that building.
But of course, creation of that, and that position will come back before you all. That's not, we note it here, but we're not asking for your action to actually create the position tonight.
In other words, it's, I guess, based on the policy, this building should generate some income. Any other comments? All in favor, let it be known by the voting sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, it is approved. Next, Ms. Evans.
Next is regarding approval of projects for our school capital reserve funds. As you're aware, the portion of the county's sales tax revenue, specifically under Articles 40 and 42, is designated for school capital purposes. After the annual school debt service obligations and recurring capital outlay are funded, any remaining balance is transferred to our school capital fund. Per the understanding between the Board of Commissioners and the Edgecombe County Board of Education, proposed uses of these funds are to be submitted to the Board of Commissioners for review and approval prior to expenditure. Dr. Andrew Bryan, the Superintendent for Edgecombe County Schools, has submitted the attached list of proposed capital projects for your consideration. I recommend that you approve the proposed list of school capital projects as presented.
Motion?
So moved. Second.
Questions? All in favor, let it be known by the voting sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, it is approved. Down to appointments,
Actual item H, Mr. Chairman.
item H, go ahead.
Yes, sir. So this is for major capital funds.
Right.
Project funds ordinance. Major capital project funds ordinance is revised to include an additional $126,800 in project funding. Revenues are updated to reflect additional funds from the general fund supported by the release of escrow funds, which we talked about in that budget amendment from the Natron Energy project. Expenditures are increased by $126,800 to support eligible design expenses within the county's capital improvement program. Approval of the request for the attached revised project ordinance is recommended.
Motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Questions? All in favor, let it be known by the voting sign aye. Aye. All opposed? Hearing none, it is approved. Now down to appointments and reappointments, Planning Advisory Board. What is,
Mr. Chairman, could I note, I just want to correct the first appointee recommended is, should be Jennifer Eason, just to make that correction on her name.
okay. Is there a motion to approve these appointments as amended?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Questions? All in favor, let it be known by the voting sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, these appointments are approved. Authorization and releases for Mr. Evans, anything be brought to the board's attention?
No, sir, but happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Any comments from the board? If not, is there a motion? Second?
Second.
Questions? All in favor, let it be known by the voting sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, they are approved. Contracts, Mr. Evans?
Mr. Chairman, I would like to ask if you would consider adding a second contract. You have in your packet the contract for Lane Environmental, $262,428.82. This is for stream and waterway debris removal. This is a grant-funded project that is managed by Mr. Scott Kaiser. There he is, he moved. And so that's been a great project. He's done a great job of managing that project. I would ask if you would consider adding Wilco Products. Copy of that contract is at your seat. Total contract is $196,304. This is the contract to repair the gate at the detention center that I referenced earlier that was damaged. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have, but I recommend that you
I got a
approve.
question. Are you,
Where that gate at?
I mean, I think you were saying that, what about the, it appears to me, you said the insurance was gonna pay how much?
The company's insurance is paying all but their deductible.
The company's paying the deductible.
I'm sorry, correct.
It's the depreciated value of the gate.
There you go. Thank you for.
Okay.
So they're
Now,
replacing an old gate with a new gate. There you go.
okay, which is gonna cost us,
$50,000.
The county's also filed a claim with your insurance provider, hoping some of that will be recoverable,
That's our premium.
less your deductible.
well, it sound like we need to negotiate with the company. Our gate costing us that they broke, that they hit.
I don't understand myself.
That's a golden gate, isn't it?
It's an old golden gate.
Well, just for you to understand, it's not just typical chain link.
No, it's a security gate.
It's a
It's a lot of
huge
security.
gate,
It's at the
goes
jail.
to the rear of the detention center.
And probably,
Drive with the truck and
probably operated from within.
Yeah, he left the forks up going in, and it didn't just, the gate, I mean, it moved the whole rear side of
The whole fence too, bro.
Yeah, it's a very expensive security gate.
Is there a motion?
I guess my question there is, I guess this allows the work to be done, but if we recruit money, does this nullify that? Like, how does that,
If you do what, I'm sorry?
like, what happens if we approve this tonight and then the number changes?
I think, Mr. Dormeans, if you get money from your insurance provider,
Yeah.
to offset that 50,000.
Then we'll do a budget amendment to.
Yeah. Wouldn't the insurance be replacement costs, not actual cash value?
The county staff got estimates for the repair / replacement, because it's a replacement of the gate, and submitted those, and the company's insurance provider just applied depreciation to that total number and submitted a check to the county for that 147.
Shouldn't we dispute that?
Well, the county has agreed to that at this point.
It was the old gate, remember?
That gate was installed when the facility was.
Yeah.
Old gate were working all right.
It's an old gate.
We don't replace old gates at home.
It's the new world order.
I guess that, yeah. Okay.
Makes no sense.
Did I get a motion?
So moved. Second.
Any additional questions?
In what way did we approve that? How do we acknowledge approving of that if we haven't passed anything from this board?
147 from
Cash,
them and
cash
50 from us.
deposited the check. If we deposited, is that the way we did it?
They did send a check, and we.
And we deposited
had a
the check,
rules
which
and
says when you sign that check and deposit, it says you agree.
Right. Okay.
It didn't come to us. All in favor, let it be known by the voting sign, aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And we voted unanimous, okay. Y'all off the hook.
At the end of the day, we need a gate.
We got to have the gate. And we got this money, so we know that's a no choice matter.
I will note, I believe the company did spend some money already in a temporary gate.
Oh, until we got, for the
I
security,
believe 20 or 25,000 for a temporary.
had to secure it, had to secure it over there.
And,
Then
you
it-
know, we
yeah.
did discuss this with the county's insurance provider.
Okay.
There was some consideration.
It's not closed yet, we still might get some money.
From our own folks.
Down to, departmental reports, I'm gonna say you reviewed your water and your solid waste, and, we'll have our monthly report from our, finance report from our finance officer, and Mr. Evans will explain the proposed changes to the floodplain. And she's part of that red shirt group tonight, come on.
That's her Christmas shirt.
Come on up, Ms. Barfield. Y'all wrote the wrong color tonight, come on.
I guess our motion was to approve, but it's fine.
Y'all wore opposition colors tonight, but we're gonna be all right, okay?
So just for the record, I thought it was Christmas.
Hey, me too. I want to be Christmas today.
That's right, you kinda got some red, okay then, all right.
Threw me on the
Yeah, all right then, go ahead, go right ahead.
Well, good evening, Commissioners. So we usually go over some of the same things with the monthly reports, and I'll keep it as brief and short as I can. Just looking at the top of the first page and looking at two of our biggest revenues, which of course is going to be our ad valorem taxes and our sales tax. What you see in the year-to-date actual column for our ad valorem tax reflects September and October activity. So as you know, we collect in a different system in the tax office, so by the time we get it and reconcile it, post it to our financial system, we're always going to be about a month behind on that. So we do expect to see another surge in December as people rush to get taxes paid before the end of the year. Also, want to make sure they don't get charged any interest before January. So we are expecting to see a surge of tax collections come in next month. In terms of sales tax, what you're looking at for us is 2 months of activity. This represents July sales throughout the county and the state and August sales throughout the county and the state. So we're only looking at about 2 months. It does appear to be on pace with the budget when you look at our budget in the same reference, which is 2 months worth of budget. As I've mentioned, you know, our sales tax is made up of many different articles. Some of those portions are directly from our own local economy, and then some of them are pulled together at the state level and distributed back to the counties. So because of that, the mix of revenue that flows in, typically what's happening around the state sometimes is an indicator of what we'll also see here locally on the local level. So far from what we can tell and what I've seen with the statewide chart that the North Carolina Association of County Commissioners has put out, from what I can tell, spending appears to be pretty steady. And so at this time, I think it's just safe to say that our sales tax is tracking as expected, And as for right now, there's nothing to indicate that they won't continue to be stable as we move into the winter months. But of course, as you know, that can change each month as they get the new estimates and we see how the economy is doing. As what you typically see, because they are the bigger departments and the bigger budgets, our where we spent the most funding is public safety and human services, followed by education. So as always, we continue to monitor these areas just to make sure that we are being as good financial stewards as we can be. In terms of solid waste, you'll see that, again, revenues are somewhat lagging expenditures. Some of that is a timing issue, but some of that is purposely because, as you can see, we've got some transfer coming in, or expect to have a transfer from the general fund to help solid waste be able to meet the operational cost. Water and sewer, as always, appears to be performing really well. I'll leave you with this. I just want to make sure, I know sometimes as I step up to the podium and you'll hear me say we're on target, everything's appeared to be aligned, and at that time with that information, we are. But I just want to make sure that you understand that what we see in these reports is influenced in a lot by timing, like reimbursements, economic conditions that affect our major revenues. Just like sales tax, we think they're going to come in as budgeted. You know, there's a good chance they will and exceed, but there's also that possibility that they may come in lower. So some of the spending that we do is based on reimbursable revenues or collections that we hope to collect, and there is some degree of confidence that we will. But I just wanted to just say that even though some of the spending and some of the things you might not can always see in real time in these reports, we're always looking at them, trying to measure them, trying to look at what we think the best guess, where we think these things are going to land, and then make recommendations to Mr. Evans about any things, precautions, things we need to look at, things that we might want to keep an eye on. But just remember that these monthly reports are just a snapshot for a period of time. They may not give us what's going to happen when we get to that point where we say, okay, the year is closed, nothing else is going back. This is how the final numbers fell. These were the final expenditures. These were the final revenues. So sometimes when we get that final numbers and final report, sometimes it's not always something you can see back when I'm saying in August, oh, we're aligned, we're doing fine, and which we are. I'm not saying that we're not, but sometimes it's not as easy to see, you know, what that final sales tax collections are going to come in, because we get them, you know, that final number is 3 months after the fiscal year ends and we're allowed to put them back. So, you know, we don't know how well they'll play against the expenses. So just kind of wanted to caution with that. I also did want to give you an audit update. Very pleased, very excited to announce we were through with the audit before Thanksgiving. We, unfortunately, it appears that a lot of counties and municipalities across the state who have the same auditors as we do all had their meetings December 1st. There are only 3 people from that firm that go out and speak to the board, and all 3 of them already had prior engagement. So they sort of beat me. I guess those counties beat me to asking or getting our meeting first. However, they are willing to come at a date that you guys set forth.
So, as I mentioned, Chairman Wiggins, we need to call for a special meeting so that the auditors can come and present the audit. And if we have any other agenda items, we can add to that. I recommend that we do that next Monday at 6 p.m. if that works for the board.
Will a special meeting take care of any other things that we might need to add?
We will. Once we notice it, we have to make sure it's in the notice.
We have to make sure that it's in the notice.
Yes, sir.
I have prior engagements. But
Will it suit the schedule of the rest of us here?
What time is that?
Say, tell me that date again.
You got
December
it.
8th, next Monday at 6.
Is it
A
for
week
just
from
that
today.
Monday or Tuesday? Or you all right if we move on with the Monday?
I'm okay.
Okay. Is there a motion to,
So moved.
we have a motion, do we get a second for calling a special meeting for next Monday at
6 o'clock.
At 6 o'clock? Any questions? All in favor, let it be known by the voting sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed, that special meeting is called for next Monday at 6 o'clock with any other additions that the county manager and the attorney might add for that time frame.
Thank you, that's all for me.
Thank you. Next, Ms. Evans.
Mr. Chairman, if I would like to invite Mr. Mike Matthews, our Assistant County Manager, to come forward to give you a brief update from solid waste perspective. You'll
Okay.
recall back when we had our retreat, we spent some time talking about equipment needs and staffing concerns, and a lot of progress has been made, and we thought it'd be good for you all to hear about.
Go ahead.
First and foremost, well, good evening, but I hope I don't get any of this wrong, because I know she watches these meetings religiously. She'll text me from time to time if I say something wrong or somebody does something indifferent than what she thinks. Yeah, Gloria Mosey, our solid waste director, she
But
actively watches these
but you in
meetings.
charge of her, right? Go ahead.
He thinks so, at least.
Go right ahead.
So anyway, obviously, about a year ago, we were having a lot of issues in the solid waste department, especially as far as our convenience sites and being clean and staying clean. A lot of the issues we were having was we were short of drivers. At one point in time, we had 2 full-time drivers and a part-time driver. We actually ended up, one person went out sick, ended up passing away. The other driver, I believe, he was terminated and left us only with a part-time driver, to the point that we were struggling to find full-time drivers. It was just hard at the salary grade we had them at to find a reliable driver, which made us contract with Top Dog. We put it out for bid and contracted with Top Dog Waste, who did a lot of hauling for us in fact, if you recall, we had 2 different contracts. One was a full-time contract where they were going to different sites, picking up canisters from each convenience site, hauling them back, and then there was an on-call. I'm pleased to say that we are now fully staffed as far as drivers. We have 2 full-time drivers and a part-time driver. Ms. Mosley had hired an administrative assistant, what I'm going to call him. I think there's an administrative officer, I believe is what it is. And he was with us for, I want to say, about 4 or 5 months, and he decided that he wanted to go into a different avenue and he had a CDL license, so there was some personal issues that he was dealing with, so he decided to become our part-time driver. We had that open, and so he is now our part-time driver, which has worked out well. He's really learned, has the CDLs, but also on the flip side of that, we do still have we got rid of our full-time contract that we had with Top Dog. We no longer have that. We do have our own call one still, but to my knowledge, we've not used them in quite a while. So everything is staying up to par as far as our sites and stuff with the drivers and stuff we have. We had a part-time person that was hired with us that was doing the trash pickup that you guys agreed to about a year ago. He was doing so well, he actually came in and asked Ms. Mosley when we actually still had a equipment operator position open. Asked could he apply for that. He did. He got the job. So he went from being our part-time person to a full-time person, and has done a phenomenal job. She constantly tells how great a job he does out there. If it gets slow and nobody's there, the first thing he does is hops off people's equipment and starts picking up trash everywhere. Just one of those people you just don't have to tell what to do, they just do it. And so in my opinion, I think the solid waste department is running really well right now. I say that, and I'll knock on wood because something will probably break tomorrow. We have ordered both of the trucks. As you know, we were ordering 2 brand new roll-off trucks. The 2 we have, one is a 2000 model, the other one is a 2020 model. The 2000 model continues to give us issues every so often, so the trucks are just getting old. The knuckle boom we have is a 2017. I lied, it's not 2 roll-offs, it's 1 roll-off and 1 knuckle boom truck, so I apologize for that. So those trucks have been ordered. We ended up having to order the 2027 models as opposed to the 26 models. It got so late in the game that we ended up having to get the 27 models. But it only cost us about $11,000 more total for both of those trucks. So we're getting a newer model. Also, we've got a brand new excavator that is on site that was delivered. I think it was delivered a few weeks ago. That was all part of that financing that we did. So we're starting to overhaul some of our equipment, start to get newer equipment in there. The newer trucks are coming. We're gonna start rolling off some of the older equipment, some of the older trucks. From what I can see, the department, again, as a whole, is starting to run a lot more smoothly than it was a year and a half, 2 years ago. I think, Mr. Webb, you've even called me about a couple of the bins having some holes in them. She has ordered some new bins to go in those. As you know, the ones that go into compactors are a little bit more expensive than the normal 20, 40-yard containers. So I think she's trying to order 1 or 2 of those, and I'm sure, like I said, she's probably texting me around and telling me if I'm right or wrong, but I think that's correct. So we're trying to get on top of these little things, because if we can get on top of these little things, it keeps them from turning into great big things, which is, when they become great big things, is when you guys hear about them. What we don't want to do, my motto when I was in water and sewer was, I don't want anybody to know who I am. If nobody knows who I am, I'm doing a really good job. Because people don't know who you are unless something's messing up. So our goal is for nobody to know who anybody is in solid waste. We want it to run just as smooth as possible. So that's kind of my spiel on it. If there was some other things you got questions about, I'd be glad to answer.
With that in mind, I've been asked by citizens of Speed, well, town formerly known as Speed, what happens now they're not a town? Who picks up their trash?
Right, so the process of them, I guess, transitioning to not being a town will take over about a year for that to happen. When it comes to that, they will be charged a solid waste fee that other county residents are, and they will have access through permit to our convenience sites. Now, I think they have door-to-door pickup if that's something that they want to do, and I think
That's a private contract.
that's a private contract. They're discussing that. They can keep that, but that will be between them and that company.
That's what I'm telling right.
Thank you.
And if Ms. Mosley is listening, which probably is, want to say she's doing a good job. Doing a good job, Gloria.
Did you want to discuss the
Yes, sir.
floodplain?
Quick, I know it's been a long meeting, but I do quickly want to ask Mr. Spell, Dervin Spell, our planning director, to come up. And at least I want you, just to make sure we get this conversation out, that floodplain maps have been reviewed, and there are proposed changes to our floodplain maps. This happens every so many years, and usually we see some changes. In this case, there are going to be some relatively significant changes for some residents, especially for the town of Princeville. So Mr. Spell is going to show you, tell you a little bit more about the process, where it is, and show you here on the map what some of those changes will look like.
Yes, good evening. Yes, we was informed by the state of North Carolina Department of Public Safety that the maps are in the process of changing. And I talked with Steve Garrett. He's the representative overseeing this process, and he said that the formal adoption of these maps may be another year or so when they are formally adopted. But and here's an example. As you see, this is the county administration building. So right now, the county administration building, all of it is considered in the shaded edge flood zone. So it's not considered to be in the 100-year floodplain. Which means
what?
Which means that in the shaded edge, it's the 0.2% annual flood hazard chance, in which
That's less than the 100-year?
Greater.
It's greater. Greater.
Usually flood insurance is not required.
Yes, exactly.
It is required in this.
It's not.
It's not.
Some people refer to it as the 200-year.
Yes, and so this is the effective map right now, and now what's being proposed, as you can see, pretty much more than half the building will be considered in the 100-year flood zone under the new proposed map when they are going to effect in the next year or so. And so I'm gonna scroll out.
Did you say part of the building?
But most of the building. Let's go.
Which means you got to insure it all.
Any of your buildings in a flood zone.
And let's see, where's Princeville?
And while he's zooming in on that, just as a reference, many of you will remember Hurricane Floyd in '99. There was water in this building, first floor. Hurricane Matthew in 2016, there was not water in the building. It came up to the, I guess, the first or second step there at the back step, the steps coming up to the back door, but no water in the building.
Okay. And as you see, most of the area that's in the shaded orange and black area it's the town of Princeville. Most of it's the town of Princeville. And the shaded orange and black, that's considered protected by levee. And so right now, the residents in that area are not required to purchase flood insurance or not required to elevate new structures, even though it is recommended, but they're not required at the moment. As you see, when the maps change within the next year or so, all that's going to go away, in which most of the town would then be considered in the 100-year flood zone, in which then those requirements of the flood insurance and mandatory elevation of new structures would be triggered.
Now, has the town or will the town be provided this information or anything? They have been.
There will be public meetings, but town officials are aware. In fact, we had a meeting
About last month?
last month with some of the officials from Princeville and Tarboro, and some of our staff met to discuss it as well.
And as you see, this area is speed. As I said, a good portion of speed is in the same category that Princeville is, protected by levee, under the current map. And when the new map takes effect, that will all go away. And so again, that will trigger that requirement. If anybody has a mortgage that's living in that area, they'll be mandated to, probably by the mortgage company to purchase flood insurance.
And it's very, very expensive.
And beyond that, their flood insurance is going to triple, beyond, way more than triple.
Yeah, and that's why I'm thinking about, I know you said you told the town officials. That don't mean a hill of beans for your citizens, I'm telling you. Because a lot of them don't go to the town meeting. I think in all of these areas, we need to call some town hall meetings so that citizens can be told this information. And I don't think we need to wait till next year or saying it's gonna be 27. I think they need to be, because we don't know what the weather will do, so that people can be prepared. Those who think they don't need it may need it, but as the county, I think we need to tell all these towns that's affected. I don't think we should just wait for their local branch to do it.
Sure.
They may not get the information out in a timely fashion.
Well, my suggestion on that is that any of us as commissioners can have that meeting and have our staff there. So, our staff will prepare those meetings if we go ahead and tell staff to set up those meetings, if we think that needs to happen in the districts that we serve. And they can have whatever staff we got available and anybody else that might be able to assist in giving that information. So my suggestion is that as a board, if that's what we think is needed in the particular districts that we serve, ask the manager to do that. And
I'll call you because there's a lot of my district.
Go ahead, Mr. Thornton.
I'd like to go one step further.
Go ahead.
This is detrimental to our communities.
It is.
I mean, people will not, you literally cannot afford to build houses and insure them in these communities if these maps go into place. I mean, that is how detrimental this is. And I think this is all because they're decommissioning the levee that they've continued to spend money on. And so that's the plan, is they're going to decommission this levee.
The state.
The state or the federal government. I don't know who's responsible for decommissioning that. But I think we need to be the leading voice for all of our county, all of our towns, all of our citizens, and fight this. I think we need to could take this all the way to the top, because this is going to really cause a lot of harm to those communities.
That's a good thought. So let us charge our staff, our manager, with responsibility of appealing this for the county, appealing the decommissioning of
Is that
this.
something we can do?
Well, we can do
That's
it.
the lawyer.
But we can do it. I mean, they might deny us. You know, we can do this. It's up to them to deny. Now, I don't need to ask him, can we do it? I mean, we can tell them, do it. If there is, we can talk to our congressman, we can talk to our legislators, or whoever it is, and have them to get the process and let us write, do whatever we need to do. Well, now, we can't determine how far it's going, but unless there's otherwise saying, I'm saying the board says do it.
And I want to mention that we are working to bring in someone from DPS to come to the commission meeting in February or March to talk to you.
And I think this will help, and I'm saying that let us go ahead and start the appeals process so we can make sure that they do it. I think that's a very good point that we need to do, because that's going to seriously impact. I know the insurance that I have to pay. I'm in the flood, and I'm trying to decide whether I'm going to keep flood insurance. It's really that expensive.
Well, I'm in town.
But if you have a mortgage, you don't have a choice.
Well, I understand that. Okay, I understand that, but you're right. And
He don't have a mortgage.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't, but I can't even, if I don't have a mortgage, I can't even get no money on it unless I get the mortgage, okay? I might want to die on it.
But yeah, that's.
So it's a challenge, it is. And not only that, homeowners. You know, homeowners is out of sight now in terms of, so with those kinds of insurances, it's gonna be a serious issue for the community that's already got issues, okay? It's gonna devastate Princeville, it will.
East Tarboro as well.
As many people that were sitting out there tonight, I imagine this building would fill up if that map goes into place.
Yeah, or something that we have no control over. So I agree, let's get ahead of it as best we can.
Sure. And I just want to make it clear for the board, of course, but certainly for any of the public here tonight or watching, I want to make sure everybody understands the reality of what the process is. So the process is, if a property, parcel, house, building, whatever it is, would be included in this, and you feel like it shouldn't, you have to provide compelling, documented information. We're talking about engineer and surveying information to say, no, it should not be in that. And so I just want to paint that picture because it is quite a threshold to be able to cross, right? Not that we shouldn't pursue that, but I just didn't want anybody to get the thought that, well, if we just kind of rally behind it, they'll take us off the list. It's quite a process.
Well, we can't get off that list if we don't try.
Well, I hear you. I just want to make sure everybody
And
understood. And if the county takes this on, and we're happy to do that, it will be at some considerable expense.
Well, that's not what we said. We said appeal it. Okay, okay, and appeal to the agencies that do it would cost us nothing. Not.
I think we need to be the unifying voice for those areas, because this is all of East Tarboro that's affected now. Those maps are completely changing. This is all of Princeville. Those maps are completely changing. I mean, this is our building. Our policy states that we don't do maintenance on buildings that have flood insurance, they're in flood zones. So what do we do with this building?
And we right by the river. That's true. Why are you doing that? Because we find out from the President of the United States where the $40 million is that we're supposed to get for the town of Princeville in 2020 that he promised. Find out where that $40 million is.
Gotcha.
So I guess my point there, just to kind of I think we need to go to the town of Princeville and say, come with us, join us on this. Go to the town of Tarboro, come with it, join. We need to be the unifying voice as opposed to having them go out and try and do it individually. Let us act as the county and be that voice or serve as that connection.
So I'll get with the manager, try to come up with us a date and time for us to have that meeting. So we have time to get information out to the people.
And it's a conversation you can start, but people might not come out because they really don't understand the impact of it until it gets to them. So we've got to create some kind of campaign that's to help them understand the seriousness of what's going to happen. Okay.
Yeah, and we do plan on having a public meeting here in Carmen Auditorium in late March or early April, and which the ideal is to have entities, of course, from the county, Tarboro, and Princeville to have tables so the residents that come through that they can explain to those residents how their properties will be infected.
Right.
So that's the early discussion on
So that means you're gonna have the people who are making this change, gonna have a representative there?
Yeah, it was my understanding that the state representatives will be.
How about Corps of Engineers?
Oh.
Did this come from the Corps of Engineers?
I mean, add them
or
to the list.
Is this state? Is this state?
This
or-
is state.
This is state.
This
Floodplain
is state.
management.
Okay.
Mr. Speaker,
Yes, sir.
over toward Pine Tops, Bonham Mill Road, Dodge City, all that same
Same
way, right?
Right.
I'm guessing, but I think I know.
Let me check and
Are
see.
they included?
Smart search. Is there a specific
Bynum Road?
Vine Road?
Bynum, B-Y-N-U-M.
Yeah, Bonham Farm Road? Yeah, Bonham Farm Road.
You talking about where the sheriff's facilities are?
Yep.
Yeah, that floods every time.
Mm-hmm.
They gonna be in there too.
They ain't coming up.
Which way do I need to scroll?
See Bynum right there.
I'm sorry, I can't see that far. I'm looking, but I can't help you either.
I can't see it on that one, that's why I had to turn around.
See it?
Yeah, see that, where that 614?
Okay. Yeah, so that's the effective. That's the map right now in the preliminary.
I don't think they've released that yet.
Yeah, I don't like this. Yeah, this
It
is
is.
too.
Yeah, I was looking at it. It doesn't look like they've released it yet.
Yeah.
Oh, so that area, okay.
We'll keep a check on it and see if there are any significant changes.
Any other questions? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, under department reports, I have one other thing that's not listed, very exciting news.
Go ahead.
And I want to invite Ms. Michelle Etheridge, who's our health director, and her team to come to the podium.
Okay.
Thanks, Harold.
They have been working very, very hard to get our health department re-accredited, and recently received a letter.
I didn't know it wasn't accredited.
Well, it just has to be redone and renewed, I guess you'll call
I
it.
thought we were already accredited, okay.
It has to be done every so often.
Okay, good.
Every 4 years. we
Okay.
have to
Oh,
do
okay,
the
okay, I'll follow,
process again.
I'll follow you there, go ahead, okay.
But they've worked very hard, and I'm sure a lot of folks that are not here tonight are as part of that process, but just want to recognize them. That's a huge deal. I mean, I only saw a fraction of the things that they had, the boxes they had to check, and it was a lot more than what I saw, I'm sure. And they spent a lot of time, a lot of energy, And this is a big deal for our health department, for our staff, and just wanted to recognize them tonight. And I'll ask Michelle if she'll introduce her team.
Sure. So we have Karen Fellows, who is our finance officer for the health department, Melanie Hudson, who is our environmental health manager, and Morgan Petway, who is our newest member, as our director of nursing. And so these three ladies, there is, a lot of our staff does play a big role, but these three ladies have a bulk of it. So you can imagine being a health department, clinical services, environmental health in itself, huge, and then the finance part of it. So, and then the finance part has to go along with each program as well, and you have to, prove everything that you do.
And it's all run by women. Okay? The efficiency of our department is in women's hand, okay?
We have one on our management team. He's our social work supervisor that does an excellent job as well.
They probably tell them what to do.
But yeah, they've done an awesome job, and it was quite the process, especially Morgan. She's been with us, about a year. And then just has been director of nursing going on 6 months. So she really kind of has just jumped feet first into the process and did a great job.
What's her name again? I'm sorry, I missed her name.
Morgan Petway.
Morgan Petway, okay, gotcha.
So they've done a great job, and I really appreciate them. They've done a lot. It's been a big support to me since I've been health director and made the process a lot.
Well, thank you, and thank you for bringing that,
Thank you.
keeping it a credit.
Thank everybody.
And that's right, and thank the staff.
I didn't get the other name. Miss Denise, is it?
Melanie Hudson.
Hudson, okay, and I know Miss Fellows.
Karen Fellows.
I know Miss Fellows, okay.
Just,
Thank you.
and I, in Rockmount, I get all my shot. I use our health department, okay? Okay. Okay.
Thank you for allowing us to take that time to recognize them.
This your meeting, Mr. Evans.
Well, as you understand, running a health department is serious business, very serious business. From everything that we do, clinical service, we've got great clinics in both here in Tarboro, in Rocky Mountain. They do a fantastic job. And, we certainly know that without accreditation, but this just lets the world know that we've got a really good staff and a really good health department. So I want to congratulate Michelle and her team for their hard work on this.
And we've got good services in all of our departments, and I just thank everybody for the services they give, and usually when I need something, I used to call Mr. Evans, okay, in terms of getting that, but I just appreciate, and I do get responses for the things that I need, okay? And so thank all of our staff. It's a wonderful team, and as we see the time we stay here, our teams we see the people here, a continuity of our public service. It makes our services so much better, and it's because you like what you do, and you enjoy staying here in our county, and you are the ones that make it a better county. And we are, I've heard the term, I like to use the term low wealth. We are not a poor county. We are a low wealth county, okay? Which means that all of our people, we are building on that, okay? I don't usually use the term unless I slip. Anything else? Mr. Evans.
That's it for department reports.
Go right ahead to manager, sir.
You have, for your consideration, happy to answer any questions, my major events and updates, monthly updates report, workforce development indicators, TDA financial report, monthly report. You'll see noted here NCDOT's planned project for US 258. We were able to host staff from North Carolina Department of Transportation a week or so ago in the Carmen Auditorium, and they gave a public update, gave us an early view of their plans under consideration for US Highway 258, Walmart area back towards Sarah Lee, some pretty significant changes. They are in the public comment phase of the planning. Still probably another 8 years or so before it's funded and actually work is done. But I would encourage folks that have not had a chance to see that, you can go to NCDOT's website, ncdot.publicinput.com. There's a copy of the map in your agenda packet, but you can see that map and see their plans. I think many of us were curious to see, was there going to be a roundabout on that map, because there was some talk about it, but they let us know that it's considered it, but they abandoned the idea. And but would be some pretty significant changes there at that very busy intersection.
The roundabout means a lot of traffic.
It means a lot of traffic. That's right.
Roundabouts in Nash County, we do four-way stop signs.
That's right. So, but you know, be a lot of money invested there. And you're right, Mr. Wiggins. It's a busy interchange there because it's a lot going on, which is a good thing. I will note, I think you have a copy at your place. Our planning department is working with City of Rocky Mount Down East Home Consortium to take applications for our Down East Home Consortium home renovation or home rehab project. We get those funds on somewhat of a regular basis. Folks are welcome to visit our website, our homepage. You'll see information on that. Certainly welcome to visit our planning department to get an application or to ask more questions. I will note, it's not on the agenda, but you approved last month, I believe it was, the 10 projects, 10 agencies we recommended for our discretionary funding for getting off the list proposals. One of those was the United Way of the Tar River region. You approved them for $25,000. They were planning to leverage that with funding from the City of Rocky Mount. That funding is not panning out for the City of Rocky Mount, so they've reached out to me and asked, could they still can do some of the project, but they need to scale it back. Before, they were planning to use part of our funds, the City of Rocky Mount's funds, to hire a person that would be something of a navigator to help to address, help folks in homeless situations to get connected to resources. So they are paring that back to a part-time position using our funds, pulling those numbers back. I've reviewed the proposal and I think it makes sense. I just want to make sure you all approved project that's now has changed some, and just wanted you all to be aware of that and just make sure that you didn't have any issues. I do recommend at least receiving your consensus that we continue to plan to fund this project for United Way.
Are there any objections from them receiving the funds with the cutback in what they propose to do with it? I hear none. It appears that you have consent.
Okay, great, thank you. And I believe that's all for my reports.
Anything from commissioners?
Just one comment, and it's just praise for our staff. I think that we've been the most transparent of a board and a county that I've ever known it to be. I thank you, Mike Matthews, for going to that meeting last weekend and being willing to stand up and take questions and kind of answer those questions and what that is. I feel like that goes above and beyond the job, but it's just it's not even an expectation anymore. It's just kind of what we do and how we do. So I think that comes from everyone here. I don't think I've reached out to someone in staff at the county and them not known about what I was already reaching out to them about. So that speaks that we have a pulse on what's happening. It speaks to we've got the people in place that are willing to respond and what that is. And so thank you for all that you do. I know that we have to listen to a lot of criticism all the time, and a lot of those things, once they kind of get your number or what that is criticism. But that is respectable to what it is. And so appreciate everything that you do on a day-to-day basis and doing it extremely well.
Any other commissioners?
I'd just like to say on my behalf that I appreciate all the departments of the county for working well together and being that quote family that you all are. 'Cause that's what it takes. It seems like everybody's doing a well job. I do want to give a special shout out though to all my DSS workers who continue to strive and go out and help our citizens, our elderly citizens who are in desperate need from time to time, and we must not forget them. We must always remain in mind. For that, I thank them, the adult protective, the child protective services, and all those people. Miss Betty Battle, work with them really hard and deal with that. So my support to them, and thank you all for the work that you do for the county and for the citizens of Edgecombe County.
Any other commissioners? Mr. Peters?
No, sir.
At this time, ladies and gentlemen, we're scheduled to go into a closed session to discuss economic development matter. Is there a motion to go?
Second.
Questions? All in favor, let it be known by the voting sign aye. All opposed? Thank you, everybody, for coming. We will now be going into executive session.
crews tonight.
Say what? I was unknown. I don't know who had that camera back there.
That Rosita Cox.
Huh?
Rosita Cox brought it. She's the one.
I'm talking the one that was in the back.
Yeah, that's her film crew. She owns a film company.
Oh, okay.
It's from the North Carolina Black Alliance.
Oh, that's what it was? Okay. Okay. I do think that maybe there were some questions raised by the citizens as it relate to the sale of the land, as relate to the number of permanent employees that they were going to have. So I think those are relevant questions, and the natural gas in terms of the continuance of natural gas, and if there's not enough supply of natural gas, how are we going to handle the supply of electricity to them? Also, while I think staff has adequately addressed to the water in terms of sufficient water supply for this, we might just need to be prepared to continue to answer those questions for the public. Is there anything else that came up?
Ditto that for electricity too.
Okay. Is there anything else that the commission can think of that maybe was raised that we need to?
This is a question that I've asked of our attorney individually, but at what point is it considered a data center, and at what point is it considered a utility or a power station? And at one point, they said that they were going to be generating enough power to supply power to the county. And at that point, I'm not considering that a data center anymore.
Well, they said power for their facility.
No,
Yeah,
they
but
also
they
said
said that they could give as much power as they wanted to the county. They could power this whole entire county. They could power a whole eastern part of North Carolina, really.
I don't.
And the way that we've looked at it is, initially, the plan is for them to generate power sufficient to run their facility.
Right.
And they could have some excess. So the primary purpose, at least initially of the project, is to generate power for their facility. And therefore, we look at it as a data center, self-powered generated. Now, if it gets to the point that that balance shifts, then we'd have to look at it.
So here's my question on that, and this is an ignorant question because I don't know the answer to it in any way, shape, or form. Are they considering it are they considering it a data center because they get an easier environmental permit as opposed to a power company?
Well, I guess my response, certainly any of the team been in these meetings can respond. We can only go on what they've been sharing with us. And all that they've been sharing with us, we're building a data center. That's where the money is. And we're gonna.
Last meeting, that was not what they said.
We're gonna generate power. And there's some value in that power. But it's always been a data center project.
I think we should listen back to that last meeting because the comments at that last meeting was data center is how we make money. Power is we're a power company.
Yeah.
I don't recall that.
Yeah, is there anything the other commissioners heard that they might?
How about the emissions, Mike, from those, how many generators are they gonna have supposedly?
I don't know the number to, I know it was a large, now I want to say it was like 30, 40, for some reason 30, 40.
Do we know how big the building is?
So it's not gonna be just a
already
building,
built.
it's gonna be 8 of them. So each, it's gonna be a hub of buildings. And so each one of them will have their own power generation. In fact, I think 4 of them are gonna be stationary, 4 of them are supposed to be mobile. And that's if the whole thing comes to fruition. What they're talking about initially is just like what a phase 1, I think is what they're calling it, which is an $800 million investment.
50 megawatts. Huh?
Yeah. So
What would that be, I mean, in terms of buildings?
I think it would only be, I think it was only 2 or 3. I can't remember off the top
Do
of my
we
head.
know the size of those 2 or 3?
They've shared that. I don't know
Yeah,
right
it's
offhand.
in
We can
those,
find that out and let you know.
I've got that information upstairs, but it's in that.
Okay. I'd like to get some of
Gates.
it. And also, how about the the EPA thing, about
Right.
generating power? How are they going, what controls do they have over that?
So, and that's something that we brought up tonight too, was, we didn't put in our UDO about regulating that. Well, we don't regulate that. That's, and we would have no reason to put that in our UDO. But with that being said, EPA does have strict regulations on it.
Well, that's what we need to let the public know,
Yeah,
because.
but the problem is, I don't know what the regulations are.
Yeah.
And I think we're all trying to do a little, as much research as we can as these things
Okay.
pop up. I think we brought, that we're not, data center engineers, nor do I want to be one.
No.
But we're trying to learn as much as possibly can.
Are there gonna be unknowns? There are, if we move forward to prove. There are gonna be unknowns in anything we do as relate to what's brought to us and what is finalized, okay? That's the way I feel about any project that comes to us. But with these, once they get started, as we have stated at this board before, they can begin to just move forward aggressively, and some things we won't be able to stop, okay? Some things we will not be able to stop. And I think that's we need, if in fact we move forward, and we just to make sure that we have, at least based on the research and the information that we need to put as much protection on it as we can.
There's some basic questions that we should
Right.
all know
Right.
at some point in time. I don't know if this is the point in time. And some of them were brought up tonight. I
Some
mean,
of-
we don't
right.
know what size building they're building. We don't know how many generators they're gonna have. And I don't know if there's
We,
gonna be a
we have
point they've got
access to that
declare
information, I just don't have it tonight with us.
Do you know, Mike, do you know the demands, the water demands?
The only thing we've been told is 500,000 a day.
And then somebody said 2 or 3
Million.
million.
Well, that was, I would say that's the same.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what we're up against, though. We need to be able to dispute it without disputing it.
But see, I guess the issue is that there's really no way of disputing it, I guess, other than the fact that that's what they're telling us. They're basing their information off of other data centers.
Right.
If we go back to the one in Memphis, there's no telling how much water they use a day.
And it will grow as they grow. The water usage will grow as they build out.
Yeah,
It's
and
not
it
also
will.
apples to apples.
But
Everything's
what
different.
they're saying is,
Comparing apples
they're
to
saying
oranges.
that phase, I'm gonna call it the Kingsborough phase. So that is one of the 3 phases, the
Right.
Tarver, the Kingsborough, the Powell. I'm gonna call that the Kingsborough phase. They're saying that was 500,000. That's all we have been told was 500,000 gallons. That's what we were told in the meeting downstairs. That's what Dan Schaefer has told us. If that number increases, we have capacity to be able to account for that increase, but only to a certain amount. They can't come in here and say, and that's where that attestation comes in. We have the ability to regulate that 100% because our water meter, and we can go out there and just turn it off if we need to.
Well, that's what I told Mr. Evans today. We need to be proactive in letting the public know these things. When you say attestation to somebody, they might say, what in the world are you talking about?
I did bring that up too tonight. I said I had no clue what that word even meant till 3 months ago. So if y'all don't know, I didn't know either, so.
Oh, yeah. Well, we know, but does the public know? You know,
It's a hard word to swallow.
But, I think the Tarver situation has been appealed, hasn't it?
Yes.
And we don't know what's gonna happen with that, okay? So, we are, I guess what I'll say on that, we are where we are. And even with the land, the sale of the land is where we are and where this board possibly will go, okay? Okay, so I would say to every board member, you can think on it in terms of, we can get additional responses, think on what you're gonna do with it. And when and if it comes to the agenda, Mr. Evans will be telling us when and if it's coming to the agenda, okay? And when Mr. Peters has done his due diligence in terms of what he needs to do, and we can advise our staff in terms of what we think we might need to do with that.
So, now, the people who have come and presented, was either one of them the man that said he owns it from Rocky Mountain?
What?
This company that's supposed to be building the data
I saw
center?
Robertsonville somebody was from Robertsonville, wasn't it? The band.
I'm not sure. I mean, the two that we know is,
Mr. Dalton.
you've met Daniel Schaefer a few times, and I think he lives in
Robertsonville.
Robertsonville. And then C.B. Doddridge is the other.
and there's one more person who's working on that.
And I was looking at an article online, it's like, oh, okay.
Anything else from the board?
I just got a quick question. I don't know if it's relevant or not, but is there anything we can do to help the public know what they're going, like, for instance, is there a facility close enough that we can maybe do a day trip and let them go and just observe or whatever and get, say, 10, 15 citizens that are concerned citizens to actually go and experience it themselves so they can help come back and bring the message that we're trying to relay to everybody else.
The,
And I know we went out to Tennessee and one in Virginia, but
yeah, and the reason we went to Memphis is because data center with power generation on the same site is a relatively new thing.
right.
Most data centers been around for a long time. Most of them have been built in places where they could just plug into the grid. There was plenty of electricity available. Now that's starting to dwindle, so they got to find out other solutions. Either build it and wait for the grid to be upgraded to give them more electricity, or do what this project and the one in Memphis is doing, generating their own power. You're going to see more and more of that because of the electrical capacity. So to directly answer your question, no, there is not a data center with power generation on site close by. Now, Mike went to visit NC State because they have a power generation facility on site using natural gas. So he could go in the building and see the turbines running and all that stuff. There's a data center. Some of y'all saw the one in Zebulon. But that doesn't have power generation on site. And it's just, there's a big difference between the
Just
two.
sitting there quiet as a church, right? Like right behind Bojangles, Mr. Boswell and I went,
You never
pulled
know it was
behind,
there.
they hear a thing, went around, talked with security. But again, they're on the grid, so they're pulling power from, I guess that would probably be Duke Power, guessing. But,
And the environmental issues that have been added to this issue, omissions and things like that we don't know, okay? And I don't know if we will be able to get any answers out of, and even to the gas and the fracking, or environmental issues that go way beyond us.
we don't have anything to do with fracking. I mean, there's nothing we can do about it.
But and how that impacts the total environmental issue, the issue has been raised, those issues, and I don't know how we address those.
Well, I don't think we can, but I still go back to where I started this conversation. We can tell them they're regulated by the EPA. We can tell them they do sign attestations, however you pronounce the word, about power, about water. But these people don't know any of that. As far as they thinking one's going to use 2 or 3 million gallons and it's going to take all electricity. I mean, you got to do something to calm their nerves and ease their doubts to some degree.
And also, there's a push out there that they're trying to build in black and brown communities.
Yeah.
But see, all the folks I saw in Kingsborough are not black and brown communities.
No, most of the
Okay.
folks out there.
It's a multicultural out there in that area. But they're pushing it that way. And that's why this environmental justice thing is coming up. And I serve on the North Carolina Black Alliance. So my question was, when I read the article, and it's, you need to vote no, it's like, why are y'all putting it out there? You ain't asked me, I'm on both boards. You should have asked me, okay, before you just put something out there about my county. You ain't even asked me what I thought, okay? But I'll handle that on Friday when I see him.
Any other comments from the board? Hearing none,
Whoa.
go ahead. That's right, it is. Mr. Evans, please advise the board as to our meeting with the superintendent in terms of what they plan to do with the school.
Oh, yes. So, the north.
What's that? Oh, yes.
Yeah, well, our alumni want to know about the North Edgecombe, where we are.
Go ahead.
So as you all know, the North Edgecombe capital project, we are able to get the lottery grant, the needs-based school fund grant, and we have to put 5% to that. The planned project was to renovate existing buildings at North Edgecombe High School, build some new buildings, and close and consolidate Coker Wembley and Phillips. And so the school system, they've hired an architect and as well as a construction manager at risk. They've been working through the plans and looking at the plans and estimated costs. They're not absolutely for certain, but it looks like it's moving in a direction that is going to cost so much that they won't be able to do that full project as what we've been planning. Again, it's still somewhat early, but it looks like the indications are they won't be able to bring both the middle and elementary school. We hope it doesn't get to the point where it's just, I mean, certainly that'll be a good project renovating high school, but you all should be aware, and I'm glad you reminded me of that, is that it looks like there's going to be a shift in the project as we've been expecting.
I think we need to have him to come back and talk, because that's all I've heard out in the public. Well, what's going on? Do we still have that money, you know, after the shutdown and all
money's there,
that
but I
stuff?
think
Is
the
the money
cost-
still there?
The cost, as it's analyzed, the potential cost of it, the funding might not be there to do that. Okay, that is the issue. They intend to move forward with the school, with some changes, but I think it's maybe the projected cost has changed in terms of once they get it, but I think they intend to cut back as much as they can to make as much as they can happen also, okay? Now, what was your suggestion, Ms. Harris, in terms of?
We need to know that. Well, I mean, we got community folks. You know, my church sits right
Well,
there beside the school.
but I really-
And they ask me all these good, I don't know,
I
I'm not
really-
on the school board.
I really think that they will do that in terms of when they get to, this might just be something that we meet, Mr. Boswell, Mr. Evans, and the chair and the vice chair and the superintendent meet with them on sometimes every month or as calls to keep us informed of what they're doing.
But
I'd really like to be in that meeting.
That was the first time I've heard that, about not being able to do the whole project.
Right.
It sounds like we
Exactly.
may end up
Well-
with 3 schools that we already have and another.
Well, I think
$63
they,
million
That's
sitting
crazy.
up running.
Huh?
That's crazy.
Exactly.
I think that, the way I understood it might be one, but we did state to her that we need to inform our board as to turn there
We need to use that money to fix all 3 of them.
Is that money still available?
It is.
Yes.
Yes.
This is a done deal, I guess.
the money was
Yeah,
there.
the money's there.
The same
That's why
money.
I make sure, though, what,
Question is, you gonna build a 5,000 square foot house or a 2,500 square foot house?
build 2,000. Keep the rest.
And just as a reminder, you know, our 5% match is 3.2,
3.2
3.4
million.
million. We plan to borrow that, and we will have to have solid cost in hand, so we won't go before the LGC for that till sometime in the spring.
Right, and so the board will know fully what
What we're gonna be
plan
able to.
is.
what the plan is in terms of us moving forward with
Yeah, we gotta go to
going to
school.
LGC on that. But, you know, I guess my thinking is, in terms of the money they've got to use in terms of the school board. And we give them the funds, in terms of what they see as their needs and what they can do with the money, it's kind of a school board issue.
I agree, but we got $3.2 billion tied up in it.
Exactly.
We do,
Y'all writing
and,
that check yet?
and we have committed.
They've
to
got
it.
nothing.
And I don't see, I think they, I don't think, they'll listen, they're willing to listen to it. Okay, it's not, we just bringing information, so I don't think it's a point that we need to be critical in terms of until we get to the point that they give us all the information and we decide if, whatever input we might can have in that.
I don't want us to become a Forsyth County. I've been reading about what's going on there.
What's going on, Forsyth?
They're trying to find out where the millions of dollars they gave the school board is.
Well,
Sounds like our animal shelter project started at 10 million and we got it to 4.5.
About that.
And it's looking good too.
If you give an architect and you tell them to go build you a building, they're going to build you the Taj Mahal.
Exactly.
That's kind of my point.
Well, I think that's what they're working on.
I just
now.
want the
They're
air
work-
conditioner to work when it's supposed
Let's say this is our budget and this is what we want to do, and tell them to build a building to do it.
Doors to lock when we need to.
Exactly.
Is that?
Are they tied, are they totally tied to, not so much the architect, well, I guess it would be, but to both the architect and the builder?
Well,
Kind of, we have to get quotes? Can
Yeah,
they get some more quotes?
well, they've already gone through that process, but I think to Mr. Thorne's point, once you
Yeah.
get architect and engineers at the table, they can design anything that you want. And so then you have to kind of reel that in to what
And
you.
and if that's what you requested, they would redesign it.
Yeah.
That's right. Now, granted, they have some limitations and some constraints, because if you got, first of all, the buildings, existing buildings are old buildings and need a
there were some-
significant
and there
amount
were
of
some
work.
things that they found in the existing building.
Right.
Okay.
One of
that-
them's already been condemned.
Right, that created, that they have already had to close, that they are not using. They're part of the existing building now that they're not using.
And what building might that be?
I don't know now, I'm
It's
just
been there
telling you.
since 1974.
And they have to comply. You can't send it once your inspector tell you that this building is used, you can't use it. They can't send the children in that building. So there are certain things that they're dealing with that we don't know the causes to happen. And they're part of the building is closed, okay? And, so,
I don't want to push the panic button, I just want everybody to.
And I'm glad.
It's a concern because last year,
Not where we thought we were.
they had to bring Phillips children to North Edgecombe because the heat didn't work at Phillips School.
Well, school systems, school system old our buildings, they might have to do some more of that this year. So they have to make sure that that building is fit every day for our children to get to. Anything else to,
Mr.
go right ahead.
Chairman, one last thing I'd mention to you is the last couple of years, we've done a Christmas meeting and dinner, and just wanted to check in to see if that's something that you all wanted to do again this year.
I thought you was coming to give me the plan.
So that says yes. I'm all right with
I'll pass.
it. Mr. Ball, say pass. Anybody else? Everybody,
Where's it normally done?
we did out of the work.
Last year, we did it at the career campus last year.
Career campus.
So we need to, if we're gonna do it, then we need to select a date. If we get much past the 15th, we're getting pretty close to
Crunch time.
Christmas and everything.
You got it. Well, evidently you thought about a date.
So if we do the 15th,
What day is that?
that'll be 2 weeks from today. That's a Monday. And that will put us having 3 Mondays in a row of meetings. Just want you all to be aware of that, because we'll have our call meeting next Monday.
Yeah.
Maybe the call meeting won't take long.
I don't hear the opposition.
15th, okay.
Is that the date?
Sounds like.
16th.
Anything else coming in this open session?
Nothing else from
Does
staff.
it have to be on a Monday? Could maybe another day within that week will suffice? I don't know. I'm just asking.
I can't do that Tuesday, I got a 16th.
And we've got Human Services Board meeting that Tuesday night.
Tuesday on the 16th.
Anything else?
Okay.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All in favor, let me know by voting side aye.
Aye.
All opposed, we stand adjourned. Thanks, thank everybody.